And then you're able to click go live on Instagram.
Yes, I just clicked it here. Yeah.
Dope.
All right, everybody. Welcome back in. This is the Wednesday Hang number 2. And my guest today is Brian Cage. Now, I'm so excited for this because when people hear the name Brian Cage, they immediately think of the machine. They see the size, the physique, the power. But what makes Brian different is that he doesn't move like a guy. His size is supposed to move, which I always think is super dope. Somehow he combines heavyweight strength with cruiserweight athleticism. So he's competed all over the world, from the independent scene to Lucha Underground, Impact Wrestling, where he became world champion, to AEW, where he's become one of the most dangerous men on the roster and just returned from injury. So anyway, I'm going to bring him in here, and we're just going to catch up because I know Brian all the way back from our time in FCW. So, all right, without further ado, welcome in, my man.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. And yes, you know what's funny is I remember like when your first days walking into FCW, and me and PJ and Trent Beretta, Kalen Croft, I think we're all up there. And we're like, man, look at this guy coming. He's just like a pair of pecs, and that's it. He's just I remember your chest was so jacked. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy just does pull ups with his pecs. I don't even know what's going on here.
I love that.
But well, you know, it's funny. You put me over, which me talk about my as far as my size and my physique and being able to do what I can do. And obviously, I was like in shape then. But you saw me right when I was much smaller, and even before that, I was much smaller before that. So it's been a long time coming to build up to the machine. But I always give credit to the fact that I was wrestling and doing everything the whole time while gaining weight. So I feel like that's what kind of maybe added to my athleticism and ability to maintain such throughout my transition of putting on more and more muscle.
I was going to ask you about that because I think that's one of the coolest things. I use you as an example all the time. Like when I talk about, like I'm teaching my son who you met, who's 16 and
Yeah.
basketball. But like in terms of like, he's getting really strong, man, like really takes it serious in the gym. And I was trying to explain to him that like, if you have the athleticism first and like that base, like, and then you add muscle, like you're able to do more with it. And I use you as an example because like I remember like we wrestled in FCW and stuff, and bro, you could do anything, man. Like you're so freaking talented. I'm brand new, and just watching like all the stuff you can do. And then like years later, I see you and you're putting on size. I'm like, holy crap, he looks great. But the thing that about it is you're still able to do all the same stuff. Like that's what really just makes you stand out. Like to me, man, I got to take my hat off to you because like I think that's so impressive. There's nobody else like you who does and can do what you do, and so convincingly. So like, what do you think it was that that helped you able to maintain the athleticism while you put on the size?
I mean, yeah, because it's such a gradual process too, right? I mean, you can't like just put on 100 pounds overnight. But that's definitely, I mean, I've always been an athletic kid, you know, and I always loved wrestling. I was always wrestling the whole time. And yeah, I think it's more of a slow and steady wins the race. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it too. And matter of fact, Mick Foley, just WrestleMania weekend, also told me that. He goes, man, he's like, I don't know how you do it, Cage. Like anyone that had like, you know, your build and, you know, stature and size, you know, when I was getting in, never made it. If they did make it, they were so limited in what they could do. And I do a lot of fitness content with different, you know, pros and whatnot in the bodybuilding fitness industry, and they always want to do something wrestling related because you know it's different, obviously. And yeah, I mean, yeah, the vast majority of them aren't very good at all. And that'd be the same way. I feel like you know if you're coming off the couch super jacked, but you haven't moved at all, then like I just feel like any athleticism you have is going to be gone. Whereas if you're doing it at the same time, I also feel that because people will do sports specific training, and not saying it doesn't have its place, it doesn't help, but also at the same time I feel like just weight training, whether it's bodybuilding, weightlifting, whatever the case, you're still building fast twitch muscle fibers. So that's still being applied towards it. Like there's a study I just saw too, where it's like, oh, people that were, you know, maxing out their squats every week and PR and squat reps and PR and this, even though they weren't sprinting, it still increased their sprint time because you're just building those fast twitch muscle fibers. So I feel like as long as you're staying active and athletic, whatever type of training you're doing that's adding more muscle and more fast twitch muscle fibers to your body, you can apply it to said sport. You know what I mean? It's not like like if you're a pitcher, it's not like all you do is just pitching exercises, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like everything you do to enable your body to grow, develop, and change and advance, I feel like can be applied to anything. So, yeah, I feel like that was definitely it. And and funny enough, I could do a lot of stuff. There are certain things, like even just a standing backflip, for instance, I actually never did until I was like significantly heavier, and I just tried it. And I did. Yeah, I was actually messing around with a crash pad, like on the stiff side. Actually, I'm looking at a figure two of ricochet and Lucha Underground, and I did it. Like I almost landed. I did it a couple of times. Like, oh man, I think I could do this, and then I did it. I'm like, oh well, shit. I was like, that was pretty awesome. So, like there's some springboard stuff. Obviously some cool jumps and dives I could do, and there is a few things, especially now I've gotten even older, that I can't do as consistently. I have to, warm up. We get there and work on certain double jump springboard things, and obviously too, I started doing them less. I used to do them all the time in the indies and give it away for free, which then everybody's like, "Oh, you're making it not special." But there's this fine line of like doing it too much, where you're killing it. But also, if you don't do it at all, it's kind of like you don't use it, you lose it kind of situation. Where like whenever I've done stuff, and even then I haven't done any fancy springboardy like double jump things outside of just messing around on a crash pad in the ring for a minute. But I usually have to do it a few times to kind of build the confidence and like, and like the footwork up. But more often than not, it just usually doesn't make sense for me to do certain things either. So I still want to be able to do it, and I still do a lot of the athletic, Mr. Get my stuff in and moves. But a lot of times, like I just worked, Kevin Knight when I came back on AW, and it's like, does it make more sense for him to dive on me and for me to catch him and smash him, or for me to body slam him and go upstairs and springboard moonsault? It just doesn't always make the most sense. So
yeah, absolutely, man. There's so much we got to talk about. I want to talk about that match too with Kevin Knight. We texted about that, but before I get to that, is there anything that, like, any moves you used to do all the time that you kind of make it more difficult, or you're nervous about when you got bigger, like make it more difficult? Because now, like, that's the thing. It's like when you put on size, like if you fall, it's different. There's a different chance, risk of injury and whatnot. So is there any hesitancy to try or to do certain stuff you used to do, or you don't really feel any of that?
Right out the gate, I don't know if you remember this too, but I used to bump on the floor all the time. I used to always get cut off for like bumps off the in on the floor, or body slams on the floor, or even when we were doing house shows, in the gymnasium, I think I'll body slam on the floor. So yeah, I don't do that no more. I'm not saying I won't take it, but like that bump hurts a whole lot more now than it did when I was smaller, right? And then you also throw in the bump card, and that was also freaking 18 years ago or whatever. But a move I used to always do, I don't know if you remember, in FCW, would be like that little like springboard, like split-legged moonsault. And that's when I was to hurt my leg. I don't do that anymore because I feel like it's too much weight on my abductors and less flexibility, where I feel like it's more likely to take. Because I've never torn it from it, but it's gotten hurt. Where I'm like, yeah, okay, we don't need to do that one anymore. I'll just do a regular moonsault, or whatever. There was one more thing that popped in my head where I was like, I don't love that. I know for all my size, like I used to love chain wrestling. When we'd have free time, we'd sit there and chain. I still love it, and I do a lot of just mat rolling and shoot wrestling. But I can definitely tell my dexterity within hold to hold stuff isn't as smooth as it once was, just because there's more meat in the way. But outside of that, more often than anything else, I can still do just fine.
Yeah, that's something I don't think people realize too. Is like when you put on more size and like in shoulders and stuff, like it makes chain wrestling a little bit more difficult because everything is tighter and you can't quite move the same way that people used to. That's why I don't see a whole lot of big guys doing a lot of like intricate chain wrestling.
When I was coming back trying to get cleared from injury too, it was a lot. I kept doing a lot of chain wrestling. Everybody was like popping for it. AEW, like, what? Like, kind of like same thing. Like, you didn't know you could do this. I'm like, well, again, it never made sense. I don't really ever need to do it. But I was like, I love doing it. And I used to joke too when I don't know if you know who Zack Sabre Jr. is, but he's such a great technical wrestler. And I would joke about when I wrestle him about how he does all these crazy holds where he puts your limbs in places they're not supposed to go. I said, well, lucky for me, my limbs already don't go there anyway, so you can't even put it there. So that's the kryptonite to your style.
Yeah, good luck trying that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, my shoulder can't go there. Go ahead, try. Like I haven't had. I've my wife gives me shit. I've bought so many loofahs on a stick because I can't wash my back without it. and I leave them all the time in the shower, like in the road in the hotel. So I'm like, God dang it, I gotta buy like I must have bought at least like 50, 60 of those things like the year before last when I was on the road. Like I feel like every other weekend I have to buy a new one. I'm like, man, I freaking left it again.
That's a great question right there. What are some other big guy problems like that people don't realize? Like for example, like you gotta have a loofah or something like with a long stick to wash your back. And then what about like traveling, airline seats, or just different things that people don't realize?
Oh yeah, I mean,
the bigger guy.
Like like I'm always I always go a window. I never want an aisle because I don't have the length height. I have the width, and everyone it gets me so aggravated. The stewardess and stuff, they don't even like pretend to try to evade you. They just like steamroll right through you. So like whether you're trying to take a nap, just trying to relax on your phone, every second someone just boom, boom, boom. Like, man, come on. Obviously it's just uncomfortable being big. I hate tying my shoe. Anything get like just bending down. I hate doing that. Like I walk around my shoe untied so many times because I just don't want to go down there and tie it. People are like, oh, I got listen. I'm the best untied shoe walker on the planet. I got this. I'm a master. I mean, outside that, I don't know. I guess it's like your normal stuff. I would say it's more, body guy show. Like I prep and bring my food bag with me everywhere I go, 24/7. Like when I'm on the road, when I'm not on the road. So it's always the meal bag in between my legs. So that's more of like my constant struggle. It's not sure I guess being a big guy, but always having to like as much as it's convenient and I can't go anywhere without it. I also absolutely hate bringing it with me everywhere I go all the damn time. And anytime I don't bring it, I like for whatever like for a small like 2-hour window, I always regret it. I'm like, oh no, I got stuck in traffic. Now I wish I had my meal or had whatever. But yeah, that I do hate bringing that thing with me everywhere. But it's just it's part of me. I joke that it should have been an accessory on my action figure. I'm like, we had like a cinder block situation. I go, you should have had a little 6-pack bag. That'd been great. I was like,
that would
perfect.
Be
little meal prep bag. That'd be great.
That would be. Oh, do you use the 6-pack meal prep bag? Oh, I have one of those too. I have
so many. So like this is an old school one. That look, it's even when I was sponsored by 5% Nutrition. That's one. But I have multiple of them.
That's right. I forgot about that. That was dope, man. I was a big fan of Rich Piana's too. Like I still
he was the man.
Videos and learned like so much from him. And I had the chance to meet him at Gold's Gym a few times, like in California, like here in LA. Like he would just be in there the same time I was.
He was so nice too.
Yeah, it really was. Down to earth, man, freaking crazy physique, but like he knows his stuff, man.
Was that at the North Hollywood Golds?
Yep, sure was.
Yeah. That's where it always was at. Yeah. That's where I always see him. I remember the first time. I did a video with him. Like I thought I just got the opportunity, and so we did this whole workout. We did this thing where I body slammed him. I did backflip. We did this whole long, super dope interview. And then afterwards, the guy recording it goes, "Oh man!" And I like, "What?" He goes, "I just recorded that whole workout and interview in high speed, so it's all slow mo. So it looks great, but like it just he doesn't hear it." And he's like, and we were there forever. So then like we quickly just try to hit a couple sets and then do a couple Q&A. Like so we had this really long, awesome workout interview, and then it turned to this like little 10-minute like highlight clip because that's all we had. I was so bummed, and then I thought that's all we were doing. And he goes, "Okay, man, well, I'll send some paperwork over for you to sign and give me your address, and I'll get everything sent out." And I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Oh, you're part of the team now. You're sponsored." I go, "I am?" He goes, "Oh yeah, we're gonna send you a freaking welcome kit, all the supplements and all the gear and blah blah." Then we'll invite you to every expo we go to, and all. I was like, "Oh shit!" So yeah, that was my first big sponsor, and he was great.
That's dope. That's really cool. Okay, so I want to talk about. Hey man, we're both into bodybuilding and all this. Talk about when you started getting into bodybuilding. Like how long ago did that happen? And when was your first show? And then also I want to talk about how much did your training differ from wrestling to them once you started bodybuilding?
So I actually fell in love with bodybuilding like right out of high school because I thought I was way small. Like when I graduated, I was only 150 pounds. And I was like, this isn't going to cut the mustard. And I started getting into more weight training, and I kept on wanting to. At the end of high school. And then my sophomore PE teacher, he had summer school. and you know how much I wanted to be a wrestler. We were cool. He goes, hey, I don't know if you want, but I could open up the weight room for you if you want to use it throughout summer. So then that summer I graduated, I would jog to my school every single morning. I'd get there, 8:30, and he'd open up the gym, and I would just start going ham, and I just figured out, and I just fell in love with it. And then I was like, oh, it'd be cool to do a bodybuilding show one day. And then even after FCW, I kept thinking about doing a bodybuilding show at some point in time, but I kept on finding a reason not to do it. And then eventually I hurt my shoulder wrestling, and then I got in the worst shape of my life. And then for anybody who sees it too, whenever you post that shitty picture from me from PWG from like 2011, I think it is, and it was, oh, and they act like that's what I look like my whole career, and then all of a sudden I look like this like the next day. I go, first of all, fuck you. Sorry, I don't know if I can cuss, but I was like, secondly, I was like, I was in so much good shape all the way through there, and just so I was could make people feel bad. I go, and then at that point in time, yes, I hurt my shoulder. I wasn't training. I was at my lowest low, living at my ex's dad's house, completely broke. Fucking financially, like it just rock bottom. So then I came from that, and then built back up into being a machine. But when I got some steady income coming back in, where my shoulder finally started feeling better, when just life started turning around, I used that as motivation. Like, you know what? I'm finally going to do a bodybuilding show. I kept saying like, oh, one of these days, I go, I'm going to do it to like feel the candle to come back in the best shape I've ever been in. So I did my first show in 2012. Fell in love with that. I was like, I won. I didn't win the overall, but I won both my classes, and I was like, this is great. I did a few more shows over the span of the next few years. And then actually, we'll get back to it, but to fast forward, everyone has always asked me, oh, you get ready for show, just, throughout the years. They're always like, oh, you look like you're like 6 weeks out. So I kept getting that recently, and because I've just gotten probably the best shape I've ever been in overall. And I was like, no, I'm just, trying to come back from injury, and I want to look as best as possible, and yada, yada. And after getting asked it time and time again, I finally was like, you know what? Let me look and see. So I'm actually kind of last minute on the fly, but I think I'll do just fine. Going to do another bodybuilding show June 13th here, just a few weeks in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
So, I know.
Less than a month.
I know. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. It's like a little side quest. And all the while, I'm still like doing some MMA training, wrestling, traveling, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, and I feel great. I still feel great. I looked at some pictures from my last couple competitions in 14, 15, when I won the overalls. And I was bigger than I'm now, but I'm way more conditioned right now. So I feel really happy, confident about it. And everybody's always wanting to see me compete again, especially all the fitness community here in Vegas, where I live now. So I'm pretty excited about it. And again, I like the fact that it's, I don't want to say, it's not like I'm not trying, but it feels cooler to be like, oh, I'm in shape, so let me do a show. Not, oh crap, let me get in shape so I can do a show. And then even at that point, like if I show up and I don't win, which I will, but if I don't win, it's like, oh, whatever, I didn't even try. And if I do win, it's like, oh, ultimate flex. So,
yeah.
How my training changed when I did the show, it was really just more. It was more a diet than anything that changed, and then obviously, it's just I was always consistent in the gym. But now it's like you can't not miss it. You can't. You have to hit all your cardio. You have to do all this, and then this go around too. Like we said before, I was even trying to do a show. It's been. I feel like I used to always do the bro split. And I do 6 days a week, every muscle group, including hamstrings, individualized. And then more often than not, I would go back in on my off day anyways. And I felt like I was always just overtraining. And even if I felt good and strong, my body always hurt everywhere. Just like the overtraining, like tendons and everything. Right now, I've been doing, and we're such creatures of habit. It was so hard to get out of that routine. And I did the whole push pull legs day off, and I feel the best I've ever felt. Just because, I was a big volume guy. So if I was doing chest, I was doing 40 sets of chest. I was doing 45 sets of back. It was just so much. So now I do way less volume, way more intention. I still do a lot of volume, but not spread through 3 different muscle groups, and I do everything twice a week. And I feel like overall my body just responded really well, and nothing hurts like it used to. Because I think I'm just not overtraining. And on top of that, I stayed in such good shape through all my surgeries last year and everything I went through. I felt like that it almost made it easier to freaking get even in better shape when I could do everything. Because I'm not doing cardio, I'm not doing legs, I'm so limited in certain things I could do. So now I'm full tilt. And realistically too, I've only been like, 3 or 4 months being able to do everything. So The fact that I've gotten to myself to this level, again, like I really feel like this is the best I've ever felt. That 20 plus years of wrestling at age 42 to feel and look the best I think I ever have is pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, you look phenomenal. I'll say that. I was watching last week when you came back in the match against Kevin Knight, bro. You are shredded. Like, yes, go step on the stage now. You're already so lean. I don't even think you have to drop that much water, and you should walk away with this. I don't know who else is in this competition, and I don't say that lightly, man, because like I'm into this. You got it, and that's why I appreciate it. I did.
Well, I know who else is in this competition. The guy coming in second. That's who's got in the competition.
That's right. I love it. You know what? That's the thing, though, man. Is when you put in the work, that's the confidence. I mean, it's realistic.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I was already looking in, not to get all bodybuilding, I said wrestling, but like, I mean, and even then, it's funny because especially if I'm, if I'm on TV tonight and then I come back next week, I think people are going to be like, "Oh shit, he's even in better shape." Like the way my hamstrings and then, again, this is a small detail, but like only I guess fitness or bodybuilding enthusiasts would notice, but like small details already that keep on changing in my glutes and my hamstrings. The spots that are really hard to get really cut shredded. I'm like, dude, and just like the added graininess and we're also people don't realize, not to get like narcissistic about it, but as good as I looked on TV Wednesday night, that's also after flying all day, showing up there, no pump, not working. Like when I'm in the gym and I'm dry and I'm full pumped and posing, that's a whole different like physique too. It's like it's whole transformation. And people think they're like, "Oh my god, this guy must have gained so." It's like, no, I lost. I'm like 25 pounds smaller than what I normally am. So, which I mean, I'm sure you know how that works too. Usually, you get more shredded up, and it creates the illusion, especially the the waist, the chest, and all the ratios change, so it gives them more of an illusion that you're bigger than what you are. So
yeah, absolutely. Like for me, like after wrestling, I was doing a lot more acting, and the thing that I would get hit with a lot is I need to lose size. Like
you're too big. Yeah,
you're too big. But then the thing of it is, I'm like, all right, so I would drop some body fat or whatever. I would look even bigger. That's not what. Like I'd have to actually lose muscle mass, which for me,
it goes
against my entire lifestyle. I'm like you, man. Like I work out 7 days a week, and sometimes I do 2 a days, just because I don't like idle time. But I've started trying to incorporate more rest days. It's hard for me to do, but I see the benefit of it. And and the recovery, the older I get.
I used to always joke and say, I work out 8 hours a day, 8 days a week. And it's great too, because like on those days that you don't work out, it is hard. It's hard to take a rest day. And I try to occupy my day and even then, like, and even that full rest day from like, I'll go roll in the ring or I'll go do some other training. So like you're still active, but it's the same type of training. And like I said, it has done wonders for my body. I feel like so much better. But I have to, because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything else. And like I feel like my main addiction at highs is going to the gym. And if I'm just sitting around doing nothing, that's also when I'm more likely to freaking want to eat and cheat and whatever else. Like people always go, I don't know how you do it on the road. I do everything perfect on the road. Once I head to the airport, I'm clocked in, I'm locked in. I have all my meals scheduled out from the moment I'm leaving. So like even if I'm in multiple cities, I have it all sorted. What gym I'm going to, when I'm going to it, where my food is, everything locked in. Not even a guess. And there's no food there for me to eat that I'm not supposed to eat. But if I'm at home and you got kids, I got kids and stuff too, and you're sitting around and you're bored and you're late. That's when you're like, well, let me just go look at this pantry. What's in this cupboard? Oh, are you gonna eat the rest of this cereal? You know what I mean? Like that's what's more danger zone. Once I'm set and I'm moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah, like the same for me is like being on the road or for anything. That's easy to me because this is work. I'm so locked in, and like I know the places I can eat on the road. If I don't bring my meals with me, I know which places I can get lean protein, vegetables, rice, whatever I need. And I don't mind it because it's like I'm in professional mode. But being home, like with my son, if I'm gonna have a cheat meal, that's the time to do it. Not on the road by myself. Why would I enjoy that? I'm gonna make a whole event out of it.
Also too, if I'm gonna have a big cheat meal, I usually have it planned out. Like I'm excited for it. Like maybe I can on the road because there's a specific place I'm going to because there's one place in Miami that I can't wait to go to. I'm gonna try. There could be that situation, but normally it's like no, I'm not gonna cheat on the road at midnight when the only options Denny's or fast food. Like that's not what I want. You know what I mean? Like I want the best of the best, the cream of the crop. So, but yeah, so that's how the training, I guess, didn't really change up a whole lot. And yeah, I fell in love with the bodybuilding aspect, and it definitely enhanced my overall overness in wrestling, because like you said too, like I was already a fit guy, but now I'm like, oh, this jack guy, which I love, because especially in certain like smart mark places, they see me come out and they boo me like, oh, this guy sucks. He's gonna be like, to quote somebody, like, oh, he's like Batista without tattoos. But then once you see me like wrestling and move and doing it, they're like, hold on, wait a second, shut the front door. This guy's amazing. So there's a place called PWG. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's one of the best places ever to wrestle. And I remember I walked out to booze and who the hell are you, Chants? And then I got, this is awesome in the middle, and please come back after the match was over. So like, talk about winning over the crowd. It was incredible.
That's dope. That's dope. Okay, man, there's so much to talk about. Let me ask you this. Let's go back to FCW, bro. I don't even know if I told you this, but like I remember the match that you and I had at FCW very, very early on. I remember Norman Smiley telling me like after it, he was like, "Yo, that's the best match like you've had to date." And I was like, "Oh man, great!" And you led me through all of it. I remember like when we were going through it in the back, like you were telling me, I was like, "Oh man, this is a lot we're gonna do." But I loved it. It was so easy. But the thing of it was like you were so cool, like to work with, because you understood like, hey, this guy's new, and led me through it. It helped me just feel comfortable. So I always appreciated that, man. Like that was really dope. But it also showed me like, yo, this guy is legit and like really, really knows his shit too, man. So yeah, my hat's off to you even way back then.
Well, I appreciate that. And I laughed in the middle of it, because I know that's 99% of the time anybody who works with me is always like the guys always like rushing to call all this stuff. And they're like, that's a lot. Oh, and I'm like, don't worry. Like there'll be so many times I show up at the show, especially if I get there late and I'm getting dressed, I'm calling like 1,000 things, and I'm like, okay, you ready? All right, I'll see you out there. Don't worry. I'll call it off for you. We're good. And the person's like freaking out. And it always works out fine. And I feel like I'm like, trust me, I got this. We'll lead you. It'll be good. But obviously, yes, I knew your limitations. And I felt like I was even better at calling it on the fly then, because we did it all the time, right? In FCW days. But I always wanted. It's funny because I feel like the more some people try to like discredit people that want to like can and call more stuff in the back, and I'm like, I mean, I want to be able to do whatever, call it in the ring, call it in the back, plan it all out, whatever the case may be. I want to be versatile in every aspect. But to me, the fact that I want to think of more creative spots or unique moments, or I want to call this, isn't because I can't call in the ring. It's because I want to put that much effort into the match to make it stand out or be different. Yeah. If you can call it the ring, I almost feel like it's being lazy to be like, oh, let's just go out there and call. You know what I mean? Like that's saying like I'm not going to plan anything. We'll just go out there and whatever happens, happen. You know what I mean? So, and not saying that's on its own ability. I remember. Do you remember Bambi Killer, Chris Draper?
Yeah. Bambi Killer. Yes.
Dude. So I remember one of the time I was so hot. So I don't know. There's a moment where like they kept on like they wouldn't tell us the matches on the house shows. They would just tell you guys are next. So whoever's on deck, and they'd be like, all right, Cage and Bambi, you guys are next. 20 minutes Broadway or whatever. You're like, what? She's like, okay. And then I'm trying to like call some stuff real quick. He goes, oh, let's just call it in the ring. I go, you sure? Let's just call it in the ring. Call it in the ring. Oh my God. One of the worst matches I've ever had in my life. It was so terrible. And I remember being so hot, like, I mean, just fuming red. Like, I know it was already hot out there in Florida, but I was so hot. And I come back and I threw something. I was like, if you want to call it the ring, you'd be able to fucking call it. I was so pissed. Or PJ, because I roommate with him. And he's like, man, you all right? I was like, oh, it was the worst. And I feel like that's also a testament to the pride you take in to your ability in the ring, that if obviously it's anything less than perfect, if you get that upset about it. But I remember specifically being that hot like this freaking guy. But that's where the whole Mr. Get My Shit In came from too, because everyone, if you remember, would always rib me like we're watching tape backs and we're watching like my comeback or whatever match or our tag matches, and like, oh, Logan's got to get his shit in, because my name was Chris Logan there. Yep. Logan's always got to get his shit in. And I remember I joked, I was like, yeah, because I'm Mr. Get my shit in. And I think, oh my gosh, Dylan Klein, he popped huge for
Yeah,
that. And I was like,
I remember
and then
him.
I need me some trunks like that. And then actually I got them made and I just didn't wear them forever. And then unfortunately I got released because I was doing like the Nightclaw stuff too beforehand. But then when
Yeah.
I was on the indies, I still had them for a minute. And actually Byron Wilcott, to throw all these names at you,
Oh yeah.
he's actually the one that made the original Mr. GMSI sets of gear. And I finally busted those out. And then that was the best. So then on the crowd on their own started chanting, "Get your shit in," and then it'd be California shows, and then might fly to a place in Rhode Island or Toronto or Europe, and then they're doing my chant. I remember I was first breaking out big time in the Indies. I was like, "This is awesome!" I'm flying across the world, and people are saying, "Get your shit in," in the clap. I'm like, "This is amazing, so good." But I'm all over the place. You said one little thing about our match and Norman Smiley, and I'm jumping all over the place. But no, but I do appreciate that. It's funny you mentioned that because I used to always talk about how Tyson Kidd TJ is like the best wrestler I've ever wrestled in my life. I loved all the matches we had there. Always perfect, always impeccable. But I always use him as an example too. And I even used his match. I think that's like maybe right when you got there because he had a match with you as well. And I remember watching you, let's just say the day before, whatever you did with whoever, right? You're drizzling shits. You just started brand new. And somehow, like the next day, TJ's in the ring with you, and you look like you've been wrestling for 8 months at least. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, like he's so smooth, and he never hurt anybody. Never oh man, it's unfortunate what happened to him. Yeah, I always thought he was so good, incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
I got to put him over too. Shout out to Tyson Kidd. Yeah, TJ was awesome. Another one. Like he's been doing it so long, so smooth, so comfortable, and he could pick up right away. Okay, I know this guy's limitations. He's brand new. This is what I can call for him. He can understand. We can go. And yeah, I remember that too. Like coming out of that, I was like, "Yo, this was great." Yeah,
right. And he's so believable too, especially being like a small guy too. Like everything he did was so believable. Like just I can't say anything better about him. Those were always my favorite matches I had. There was with TJ. So yeah, I appreciate you.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, I appreciate you putting me over, and I'll take it. But I had to put over Tyson because I'm like, as good as you want to say as I was, Tyson Kidd is the reign supreme for sure.
But that's how it is, man. We all learn from each other. That's how it should be. And he's, if I'm not mistaken, him and Natalia have a school. They have their own school.
Yeah. They're always rolling. I was talking about never out in Tampa, but I always told them like whenever because I always feel like I'm in Orlando or Miami area, like right in between or above. But whenever I'm back out there, like I want to go through and go roll with them. Because even then, I remember I was in Deep South. I was in Deep South uncontracted before FCW was a thing, right? So, and Dr. Tom had just taken over. So I got in through Chris Canyon. Bill DeMont was there for like 6 weeks. Tom took over. TJ came in not too long afterwards. I did work him there too. And I was like, dude, this guy's so good. And I remember Natty, right, was there with him. And there was a couple good girls there at the time. But you didn't, especially then, this was like 2006-ish. There wasn't a plethora of very talented females in the wrestling world at that time. And I remember when Natty came in, and we're just doing like normal drills and stuff and high spots, and I'm like, this chick is amazing. Like, I've never seen a girl just so. I'm like, holy crap! And and then that was then, like that was 20 years ago. And she looks great and freaking still killing it now. It's like it's insane.
Yeah, shout out to Natty too. She's awesome. Such a sweetheart too. Both of them. They're like two of my favorite people in the business. Yeah.
Too. Both, like I said, two of the best ever, and the least ego for it as well.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. They're so humble and yet so freaking skilled and talented. But like, I think that's part of it, and like what's led to their longevity and stuff too. Like that goes a long way in this business. Like, it's not even always how good you are, but it's how good you are to work with. And that's so important in wrestling.
I mean, I'm not thinking just now. Natty's got to be like the longest lasting female ever, right? Like she's been there forever. The WWE, like I don't know, like the I don't know the actual specs, but I don't know who would beat her. Yeah, and she's still fully like full-time active too.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, she is. That's freaking amazing. Okay, I want to go back to this. So. Yeah, they were calling you Mr. Get Your Shit In and stuff. And like, I feel like that's kind of important though, in a way, like, especially when you're establishing yourself, like there's certain things that you want to get in and that, you know, make you stand out. And so I don't necessarily feel like that's a bad thing. Yeah, maybe if it, you know, something doesn't fit in the right place. But I mean, I was pretty new, but I didn't feel like you were putting things in the wrong spot. So I wanted to ask you, so after getting released from FCW, because there's a lot of guys who've just recently been released, you're one of the success stories where, man, you reinvented yourself. Or do you feel like you reinvented yourself, or did you stick with the vision you always had for yourself? Like if you, I want you to give some advice to the guys that just got released, but like how you made it, kind of reverse engineer to where you are now, because you definitely have a career that, you know, people should aspire to.
I don't think I actually reinvented myself. I think I kept, you know, I stayed the course of action, and I guess I kept evolving. I don't think there was a big, because also all the sign there and stuff there, you know, and obviously indies then aren't indies now. Like you can get so over on the indies. You know, there was no streaming, there was no social media platforms like that. There was, I mean, it's a big different ballgame. So I definitely evolved more and more and got more over. But there wasn't like, it wasn't like I was like super known, like, you know, a la Matt Cardona, who has got such a great reinvention story. But it wasn't like you're somebody who's already on TV known and then you completely had to change everything to be a brand new. You know what I mean? Me being myself, it's still brand new pie to a lot of people. But yeah, I never wavered. I remember my mom called me right away and was like, basically, all right, you're gonna quit now? And I'm like, no, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, it sucks, but like, I'm not quitting. That doesn't even cross my mind for a second. And there was definitely, you know, peaks and valleys and hardships, but there isn't anything and everything you do and anything and everything you want to do that's worth doing. It's going to happen that way. But I mean, yeah, I just stayed the course, and I will say it does feel awesome. I mean, I promised everyone in high school that by the time I was 24, I would be signed to WWE. When I was 24, I was signed to WWE. Now, did I get to go main event WrestleMania? No, I did not. Obviously, everybody would love to do that. I will say, even though I did get like re-signed and rescinded, and there's some little back and forth a few times with WWE, the fact that I was able to live out my dream and become pretty damn successful at it without ever getting the big WWE rub, I've always kind of thought was pretty awesome as well. Like, even though like we all like, you know, want to go there, be there, obviously as a kid growing up, and you say pro wrestling to anybody on a plane, they just automatically think, you know, WWE. But to look back and think like, oh, I you know, I don't want to say, oh, I did this on my own, but like to say like I did it without that is kind of cool. There's an added benefit to that for sure. And I think also just speaks volumes to your, or excuse me, to my like determination and just dedication to it. That like, no, I'm not gonna waver. I'm not gonna second guess myself and fully believe in it. All the while though, even during the hardships, that's the thing too. Like I was never, I didn't ever just sit around hoping for something to happen. Like I have a son. I had a son then, right? And he was like 2 years old almost when I was in FCW. But I had a kid. I had bills. I had responsibilities. I'm a grown ass man. Like I'm not sitting around just playing for hopes and dreams and, you know, hoping someone comes knocks on my door and offers me a contract. I'm still out there freaking hustling, grinding the indies, but then also real world job stuff. I remember I was doing like 5 different things at once, and I think that's an aspect a lot of people don't think about too. They're like, oh, I just want to be a wrestler. What can I just wrestle and make it? And I go, I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way. But you have to sit there, and I feel like the more you kind of humble yourself too to a, you know, real world aspect while you're chasing whatever aspiration it may be, not only makes things more rewarding, but it's much more overall beneficial. But I mean, I remember I was working at the supplement store. I was doing all these different samples. I was helping my friend out with life insurance. I was I hadn't do that long. What? There's another job I'm missing. But I remember I was doing like 5 things at once, you know, and it was all like such little stuff here and there. But it was just whatever I could do every single day to make sure I could make ends meet by the end of the week. You know what I mean? So, and it definitely wasn't the fanciest of times, but like I said, it helped move me forward. And then you look back and you can appreciate that time and that work ethic that got you to where you are. And then it makes everything else that you have after the fact so much more, not beneficial, but just appreciate everything you know have.
Right.
And I grew up in a pretty poor household as well. And I'm not trying to make this like a woe is me thing. I never did. It wasn't. I never had some sort of like victim mentality thing of like, oh, you know, this is just how it's gonna be. I always just thought like I had a pretty fun childhood too, where I didn't even realize all the time like how poor we were. But I never thought that was gonna be like my life forever. I realized like, oh, this is what I want to do, and like I feel like you can use that to like, okay, let's change and make it better, or you could be like, all right, well, or we could just coast and stay the same. You know what I mean? So I feel like no matter what dream and ambitions you want or have, I feel like there needs to be something to always get better. Like if my wife was some gazillionaire and I didn't have to do anything for ever again in the day of my life, I couldn't just sit around and do nothing. Like I have to have not only something to fill my time, but I have to have something, an actual goal oriented lifestyle. Otherwise, I just feel like I don't know, people cannot. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, so to go back to your question. So yeah, I didn't reinvent anything. I just stayed the path. I remember right away hit up TNA. I got a couple of matches with them, which didn't go anywhere. I eventually ended up moving back to California, and then I started working over the SoCal scene, which I was a NorCal guy, and I'd never worked SoCal, and um, we didn't have NXT, right? So we weren't getting over from being signed. We had the Florida Championship Wrestling TV just in South Florida, but that's the thing too. I remember like I was trying to get booked, like basically asking to get booked, and it was like I started all over again. I remember a couple of shows were like, "Oh, we'll give you $20 to show up." I'm like, 20. I'm like, bro, I just left having a contract with WWE, and I go, I got to start all over again. And I was furious, and I was like, okay, well, here's what I could do. I could be mad about it and hope that it changes, or I could just go, okay, show up and fucking kill the damn thing and make something, So I remember I did this couple of shows, and like, dude, we want you back next week. Here's $40 next time. So not it's a big payday, but and then 60, then 75, then 100. Oh, then I get booked at PWG. Then you know what I mean? And that was just like that's kind of the strand too, where I feel like some people, um, I get it. If you don't really love it, you don't really want it, and it's a bit of a step back where it's insulting because I definitely felt insulted, but I was like, all right, well, you know what? Unfortunately, that's the circumstance I'm at right now. I don't really have much of an option, so I can either put my head in the sand or I can freaking put my head down, and grind. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and it's
incremental success.
yes,
Just
yes,
like
yes,
in the gym, putting on size. What
exactly.
What was it though? Like, did you? I mean, clearly, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seems like you always had a belief in yourself. Like,
100%.
like,
I never doubted.
Make it. Yeah. Talk about
Like
that.
I said, like when I was so growing up, I wanted to be wrestling at 10 years old. And everyone's like, whatever you grow out of that. And in junior high, what do you want to do? Be a wrestler. Oh, okay, but no, but for real. No, I want to be a wrestler. In high school, my parents, my friends, you're not gonna really be a wrestler, right? Yes, so I want to do like and that's what I told everybody. By the time I'm 24, I guarantee I'll be signed WWE. And then and my mom, she wasn't doing it like from a place of malice, right? She just wants safety and security for her son.
Yeah.
And I remember like, when I had opportunities, like when I got booked I went to Deep South on contract, and they're kind of like, oh, if you don't get signed, are you going to quit? I go, no. I'm like, what? I'm 21, 22. And then like I got a few extra bookings. They're like, oh, if you don't get signed, are you going to quit? I go, dude, who gets signed up to the first one? But luckily I did. And then I get fired, right? And they're like, okay, were you going to quit? I go, no, dude, how are you not going to get this in your head? I'm not quitting. Like, I'm not going to accept this as failure. It's just part of the journey. And I go, and I have full belief that it's going to make it. Again, doesn't mean that it was easy. Doesn't mean it was a perfect little storm, and didn't mean I didn't have to do a lot on the side to make it happen. But I never once doubted myself and went, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe this isn't going to work out. It never even crossed my mind.
And I think that's valuable. Like that's the magic. That reminds me of myself too. Like similarly, where if I have a goal, it's nothing is going to change. It might take me longer than I thought or that I expected, but as long as that's something that you really want and it never leaves you, man, that's the secret to success, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure.
You're never wavering from that path. And then eventually it just opens up and you're there. But sometimes, everybody's journey is unique, but it's just, kind of like a test, like how bad do you want it? Because that's really what happens is people fall off or they eventually give up because they can't take it anymore. And which means, they stopped wanting it, or the reward wasn't as much, as the challenges and things they were going through. It wasn't worth it. So I think that's a huge part of it.
Well, that's what just to go back to what I said about, about hardships and enduring all that is, it's kind of the test. And then also to like not have that goal, energy, passion in your life too. I'm like, I don't know how people can exist without that, but yeah, that's why I never wavered on it. And that's 100% the reason why it happened, because it's like, to me, I'm like, it'll eventually happen. Maybe not my timing, but in God's timing, it will happen. It'll happen the way it's supposed to happen. And you just have to ride it through. I remember when I was in college and I was talking about wrestling all the time with my counselor, and the final semester that I was there, she was like, man, you're just always talking about this wrestling, huh? And I go, well, yeah, that's where I want to do. She's like, well, you can always come back to college. And I'm like, are you saying I should drop out? He goes, I'm not saying that, and I can't say that, but I'm just saying you can always come back to college. You can only be young and go 100% wrestling once. And maybe that's not the best advice, but I was like, that's pretty rad. I remember too, because I was just going to school and though I liked kinesiology and that's what I was doing. Like that was my plan B, just because it was interesting, it was fun, and it was like the safe thing to do. But there was so much schooling and intern hours, and it's not what I really wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't what I was passionate about. It was just like, all right, I guess I have to do this, and I go, all right, you know what? F it, let's make it. I remember too when I even went to Deep South Wrestling. Um, I got the opportunity through Chris Canyon to go out there, like I said, uncontracted and be part of the team. I was there with Fandango, Johnny Curtis, because
Okay.
he actually, we both were unsigned, and he actually ended up getting signed. And the day he got signed, oh man, I wasn't there. That's a whole different story. But nevertheless, I was like, it led to me eventually getting signed. That's like when I came to FCW. Well, you weren't there yet, but I was like, oh, what Cage is back. But I remember I had a really good job, and with my son's mom's blessing, she was like, yeah, then you can go and you could do this, because I was terrified. I hadn't lived anywhere else, and I was like, I'm gonna move across the country and be away from everybody I know, to chase this dream. And obviously, there's every reason I was looking for not to do it, but the fear of not knowing or what if was more than the fear of going there. You know what I mean? Like to look
Mhm.
back and be a manager at Big Lots and going, oh man, what if I would have went? Was like, that's all I need. And I told my boss at the time, I was like, hey, look, I'm putting my notice. I'm going to leave. I'm going out here. And I remember he looks at me and he goes, oh, we need to talk, because he was a mutual friend's dad. And he goes, I know, you have this opportunity, and I just want to, let you know what you're doing, and if you for sure want to do it, because and he wasn't saying it to be a dick. It did come across that way, but he wasn't trying to be a dick. But he's like, listen, man, I just want to let you know you have a good thing here. You have your son, and like you're chasing this dream to be a pro wrestler that's probably never going to come to fruition. He goes, let's be honest, you probably have a better chance of winning the lottery. He goes, my son has a better chance of making it in the NFL than you do in WWE. He goes,
Wow.
and I just think that, and again, yeah, super dick move. But he was saying it just to be like, telling like a mom, like concerned, like, hey, it's better if you just stay here and play it safe. You know what I mean? And I remember he told me, I go, hey, listen, Jim, I'm sure you had a dream and desire too, and you have a great job, and you make great money, you do well. But I'm sure this isn't what you wanted to do. This is probably just what you did. And I feel like people like that, yeah, they want what's best for you, but also I feel like at the same time they almost don't want you to try to go achieve something, because that makes them wonder, oh, why didn't I? Right. So I go out there, I do the deal. Deep South ends up closing down. They move to FCW. I go back home because I've been out there for a while. I said if anything changes, I'll come home. But shortly after that, I get called for extra loop. That's where I get signed and go to FCW. I come back home. I don't know if I came back home or if it was right before I left to FCW, but regardless, I'm in my hometown and I'm at the home, like the main gym there, and I see Jim. That's his name, from my old job there, and I go, "Oh, hey, what's up, Jim?" He goes, "Oh, Brian, what are you doing?" I go, "Oh, just in town, visiting the family, yada yada." And I go, "Hey, is your son in the NFL?" And he goes, "What?" And I go, "Is your son? Is John? Is he playing in the NFL?" And he goes, "Well, no. Why?" And I go, "Oh, because I'm signed to WWE. Just thought you should know
I
that. So
love
have a
this.
good workout." I was like, "Bro, talk about vindication." It felt so great, so great to
Oh
see it.
man.
So good.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. Bro, that's so true. Like what you were saying is, yeah, he may have been trying to come from a caring place or whatever, but a lot of times people can project their own insecurities onto you. Or it's one of those things where, yeah, he had a dream that he didn't follow. He wasn't brave enough to
Hmm.
take that risk. So now he lives every day with regret, tries not to think about
Hmm.
it. But when he sees somebody like you who wants to go chase his dream and is brave enough, he kind of wants to talk you out of it, because then it makes him not feel as bad. Like, see, nobody's doing
Of
it.
course, of course, of course. Because then if you do it, they're like, "Oh," and that's the thing. Everyone is so afraid to go chase the dream because they're so afraid the fear of failure. When realistically, the only way to fail is to never try. That's what I've
Yeah.
always said. That's what I've always thought. I go, worst case scenario, you gave it all, and it's a life lesson, and it can be applied towards something else. If it's really not meant to be. But like just to not try, I'm like, wow, that's got to be the biggest regret, and that's the only way to really fail.
Yeah, I agree. Like that terrifies me, is not trying. Like I feel like I live my life like that. I'm always trying. And so it's interesting because do I really fail at anything? It depends on how you look at it. It's a learning experience. I may not have achieved something at the time or this time, but that doesn't mean I fail. I only fail when I stop trying, because the next time I might achieve it. And if not then, the next time. But eventually I'm going to achieve it. So then it's not failure. Right. And especially like learning. So anytime you try something that doesn't quite work out, all right, why didn't that work out? Well, all right, I'm going to learn from this. I'm not going to do this, this, and this. I'm going to try this, this, and this, and still get to where I'm trying to go. Man, I think that's so powerful, but it really comes down to a few things. Having a goal and something that you want to achieve and that, you know, you're all in on, but then also belief in yourself. I feel like that's the most important thing. Is just knowing, nah, I can do that. I'm going to do that. And then not letting anybody take you away from that.
Yeah. Because as soon as you start creating doubt, yeah, that's the downfall. Because you start to second guess stuff and, you know, and like, it's easy just to steamroll, right? And then anyone else, like I said, especially if they're looking out for your best interest, you know, to place from caring, they're going to go, oh yeah, don't do that. You know what I mean? But, yeah, you just have to be like, no, confident, like I'm doing this. It's going to happen. We're going to make it happen. So, like I said, and that's why I touched on me. So like hustling and do all these different side jobs and do everything I could, because I wasn't like I was just being a lazy bum waiting for something to change. You know what I mean? I'm out there on my hustle and grind day in and day out, which is also another aspect of it to make it happen in whatever it is that you're chasing. But and it goes for like just normal stuff too, right? I mean, geez, look at you, top dog lawyer, graduate. It wasn't like that was easy. We just, you know, woke up in the morning in your underwear and watched Saturday morning cartoons and it just fell in your lap. Like, oh, I guess I'm a freaking top-notch lawyer now. No big deal. Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be just some sort of entertainment aspect that you're chasing. Any sort of aspect creates challenge and ups and downs. And, you know, isn't easy. Like I said, if it's worth doing, it's not going to be easy to do. If it's easy to do, it's probably not going to be worth much. So,
right. Agreed. Okay, talk about, I know you just came back from injury. How hard was that to come back from? Was there ever any doubt in your mind, like, man, I don't know if I can come back the same, or is it worth it anymore? I think I already know the answer, but walk me through that.
Yes, I mean, it was it's defeating, right? Debilitating at first, but no, I never, like, I remember so many people were like, I'm going through my surgeries. They're like, oh, so like, what are you going to do now? And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, as if I'm never going to wrestle again. I go, bro, I'm going to wrestle. That's not a doubt at all. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, it sucked. Like when I tore my knee, I tore my quad off. I was devastated because I laid in the ring. I remember too thinking of like all the stuff I had coming up, all this great stuff I had coming up. And I remember just leaning, and like the whole crowd's chanting Cage, like I'm going to get up and walk off the field. And I'm like, no, just tell them to stop. I'm not like, it was, I mean, it didn't feel good, but it wasn't like I was in excruciating pain where I couldn't move. I just was so defeated where, like, even on in the middle of the ring, in the middle of the show, I just wanted to be alone and just be like, just take it in, because like, damn it, this sucks. Like that's today. Okay, but tomorrow, now it's the first day of recovery. What do we got to do? We got to go see this. We got to set up surgeon. We got to do this. So my right knee had already been messed up for a minute, and I kept on like pushing through it. So now that I just tore this left quad, I was like, well, I was trying to get through the rest of the year, then try to get this nano knee surgery on my right knee. I go, F it. Might as well just knock out both of them at the same time. I'm out the rest of the year anyways. So that way when I come back towards the end of the year, I could be good. And then so I got the first surgery, had to wait 8 weeks, got the second surgery, which definitely delayed the first surgery. But now I'm on a walker, and you're slowing down healing, you're slowing down everything else. I'm Ubering though every single, like 3 days after the second surgery, I'm already back in the gym. I'm Ubering to rehab, Ubering to the gym, Ubering back home. Side note too, and I'm like, I don't know if it's just because it's like a masculinity thing, right? Where it's like, okay, this jack fit dude's coming out to the car. I'm in a walker, both knees also taped up, you know, fresh surgeries. My knees are, and it's not arthroscopic too, right? It's fully cut open surgery. And all the Ubers it took, it's like I said, to rehab to the gym back home every single day. Only one person got out of the car to help me. Everyone else just sat there and watched me. And I'm on a walker. Fold up my walker, and I'd put it in the trunk, and I'd hand walk down the side of the car and try to open the door, and I can sit in and reach forward. And they just sit the whole time, watch me, and be like, "Did you get like surgery or something?" I'm like, "Thanks, bro. Appreciate the help." Like, I was like, So no, there's one guy that got like he saw me like he double looked we come up the walkers and, oh no, let me help you let me carry you in the car, oh here let me get this, don't get out, let me get you out, I was like, oh well, that was appreciated, but like all right, everybody else I was like because I took so many, it was so like observant to like, wow, really just nobody's going to help at all. I'm like, well, like I know I'm not one to always want constant help, but like the fact no one's even trying to help, I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
this is a struggle bus right now. I'm hurting. But the something felt off from the right one, kind of from the jump. And the doc that did it is two different doctors kept saying like, oh, don't worry, just give it time, give it time, give it time. And then come like September, October, they're like, yeah, we're gonna have to redo that one. And I was so devastated because I knew something felt off. I was getting back in shape, I was feeling good, but something just really felt off in my knee and the stability in it. And I kept bringing it up, and he just seemed so nonchalant about it. And then I was hoping to be able to return that full gear, which would have been the November pay-per-view. But instead, I'm going back in like almost the exact time to get the surgery done all over again, which was the whole reason why I got it so quickly after the first surgery, not to have to do that. So yeah, that was pretty devastating. So I basically had to, start and stop rehab 3 different times. And Crowbar, shout out to Crowbar, my man over there in Jersey. I'm a very good friends with him. He's a physical therapist and he was a wrestler in WCW. He still wrestles now. But he has his own clinic, and he replaced both of his knees at the same time, did his own rehab, and he wrestled like 16 weeks later or something like that. And he kept offering his services. I go, no, it's cool. Then once I had to redo it, I was like, all right, I think I'm gonna come out to you. And right after I woke up from surgery, I was already texting him to figure out his schedule and his availability. I booked a flight. I went out there and I stayed with him for like 5 weeks. We rehabbed every single day, twice a day, 2 hours every time. Some of the most painful stuff I've ever done in my life, especially because he used a lot of it. I mean, we were trying to get muscle activation, weight stuff up, but a lot of it was him just bending the fuck out of my knee because there's no like tendon or ligaments, being reattached in that one. So you can really stress it without causing irreparable harm, but it does not feel good. I mean, it was awful. But like the amount of range we got in such a short amount of time was insane. So I was out there, came home for Christmas, and I feel like it was a big reason why I was able to come back as fast as I was from this last surgery. Just because I'm like, we were already killing it. I had to do both these at the same time, and it took a while. And the quad takes longer, anyways. But to do the third one, I'm like, no, I'm going 110%, no distractions. I want to just rehab all day long, and I got to get back in there. So.
Yeah,
but yeah, never once did I think I wasn't gonna the whole time I just wanted to come back better, right? Like, and there's plenty of days where you feel like, man, this knee just does not feel like it's gonna get any better. Like I still didn't never doubt that I was gonna wrestle again, but I was like, what are we gonna be able to do? Am I gonna be able to do everything? I don't know. Like, I don't. And like even when I my first match back, because I had several before the AEW TV match. So we were like, "Oh, can you still do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And then I had to go, "Can I? I don't know. I guess we'll go find out." But no, everything's been fine. I've been training my butt off, like I said, in the gym, in the ring, MMA, and I've never felt better. My knees almost never hurt anymore. So it was a shitty year last year, but it's been great this year.
Yeah, you made it through, and I mean, your return to AEW was awesome. I watched that. Talk about that. What it was like coming back. How you.
Oh, I just lost you. It just happened.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. His computer crashes sometimes. I think it's because he uses a separate monitor. So he's gonna
pop back up.
Meanwhile, I'll pop up, get him out of here, and we have some questions for you. Have you seen the Punisher Marvel special that was released last week? Any thoughts on it?
No, not yet. Not yet. Don't spoil nothing. Nothing.
I haven't seen it yet either. Behind. It looks great.
I'm stoked. He's probably my favorite thing about Marvel right now. So I haven't even watched it. I've watched episode 1 of Daredevil. I've watched the rest of the series, and I'm at the end of The Boys. I'm behind a lot on my TV watching, but I'm stoked about the Punisher.
I think The Boys. Their finale was last night. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
We're way behind on everything.
Yeah, I am. But it's funny too. I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm much more of a movie guy. Like you want to talk about Obsession? That movie is pretty rad. I watched that Thursday night before it came out on its official release. That was phenomenal.
That movie looks really rad. I just watched Project Hail Mary last night. That was incredible.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm usually so preoccupied with stuff, and I don't watch a lot of TV series because of that. Because I want a beginning, middle, and in 2 hours. But I do like all that stuff. I will say so far, again, I don't want any spoilers for people who've seen it, but I got to say this last season of The Boys has not been that great. Has not been that great.
It's been interesting, I'd say.
And that's also why I don't watch a lot of. So to me, a lot of TV series like The Boys was the first show I've ever watched where, as much as everyone put it over to me, it was even better than what I expected. Like the first episode, I was like, "This is amazing," and I
Yeah.
loved it. But then after, like, everything goes on so long, where I feel like it's just the same shit over and over and over again. And I know this is like the series finale, but I'm like in my head, I go, "All right, look, if you guys don't change, like, I don't care. My height of attention span is at its all time high. Well, now it's already been lower, but like if it doesn't end now, I don't care anymore. Like if Homelander just dies, like, you lost me. I don't give a shit. I'm done. I'm not watching
Right.
anymore. You're like, and I feel like that's what happens to a lot of TV.
And the IP's not over either because they have a show where they're in that academy, and then they have a Soldier Boy prequel they announced like 2 summers ago.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, I saw it too. But yeah, I like everything just always feels like it goes on too long, and it's just kind of like the same thing but a little differently. Like every season, where it's like it's so good, then you're like, okay, it's kind of kind of the same thing over and over and over. And I just start to kind of fizzle out. Where I'm like, I don't really care anymore.
Here we are.
There we go. Around
Sorry
here we
about
call
that.
this the Rocktopus, which is that Dwayne
Yes.
The Rock Johnson has tentacles everywhere, and when your computer fails, it's usually the Rocktopus.
It usually is. This is true. We're running too many different things at one time. I don't know what you last heard where I left off, but I was asking just to go through your return.
Yes. So you starting that right before you paused out on us. So I told you to tell the story as well. So I actually was out car shopping, buy a new car, and I'm coming home. It's like 7:30 or so at night, driving back, and I get a call from the office, and they're like, "Hey, Tony wants to know if you can make TV." And I go, "Like tomorrow?" And he goes, "Yeah, there's a flight in 2 hours. Can you take it?" And I go, "What?" And I go, "Oh, hold on." I go, "I know you guys don't probably care that much." I was like, but I have stuff booked Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I had plans tomorrow, and I was going to pack everything tomorrow. I was going to leave all the day. I go, "There's no way I can leave in 2 hours." Like, and again, so we're talking about me doing the show and stuff too. Like, I have to pack all my stuff, so all my food, all my like. I'm like, that's going to take a plethora of time. And they're like, "All right, well, there's a 7 a.m. flight. It's going to get in like really late, but I mean, I guess you could, if you can do that, that'd be great." And I'm like, "Oh boy." Okay, let me see what I can do. So I remember I rushed back home, I started packing, but then also that was an off day. And now because of travel, I go, I'm not gonna be able to work out now. So as I'm packing, it's like 9 o'clock at night or so. I go, well, I gotta go train legs now. So I go to the gym and I go train legs, and then I come back.
Wow.
And I finish packing almost 3 in the morning and go to bed. Get up at 5:40 to go catch this freaking flight. Get to the venue at 7 p.m. Have to go right to medical to get cleared by the state commission for my physical to be able to compete. And that's like huge. We're also wrestling in Asheville. I'm like, of course, so, a regional airport, little city. Couldn't be like Dallas would have been halfway across the country and an easy flight. And then the trainer's just working on me afterwards, and I text her agent. I go, "Hey, tell Kevin to come down here because like it's almost go time, right?" I never even saw the locker room. I don't even know what the locker room is. I went to medical. He's working on me. We start calling some parts of the match. I get dressed, and then we went to Gorilla and freaking had the match. It was wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Like it was so in and out. I was not prepared. But yes, it did go great. It did go great. The surprise return, and I saw everyone's plethora of comments and everything going on online, and people were excited to see me, people in my defense, people wanting to see more, people like just so much positivity. So it was great. Like, was it the perfect situation as far as how it all unfolded? Definitely not how I want, but I mean, hey, if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready, and that's what we were at. And I felt like we had a great showing, and I feel real good about things moving forward and what supposedly should be there down the pipeline.
Awesome. And talk about it. Like, what do you see next for yourself, or like what goals do you have like presently, like in the near future?
I mean, obviously, there's still so many people that it does it work with, and I obviously a big moves guy, big match guy. But there's so many programs I want. Not just, I know we have a lot of awesome matches, a lot of 5-star matches, and I've been a part of a lot of cool matches, but I really want some more programs because I don't feel like I've had that many there. And I know we have a plethora of titles too that I could go after, and without trying to like, I guess, reveal too much. Um, I know that I would really like the opportunity to stand out in Mountain Two. I know Lance and I had been tagging before, and we came back, and I don't mind, tagging, doing more stuff with him. But I feel like a lot of my career in AEW has been group stuff, 6-man stuff, tag stuff, and I've always like, dude, I feel like I'm so much better as a solo act, and I stand out so much more as a solo act. And I go, and especially compared to the rest of the roster, if there's anybody that doesn't need a group, of a tag team, a faction, what I go, I feel like I'm one of them, both look, ability, size wise. So I'd really like more of the opportunity to shine myself. And I remember even said that, I was like, look, I just want to be on TV every week and having banger matches, because I think first and foremost too, I want to remind everyone just exactly who the hell I am, what I can do, and then from there develop into some sort of program, whether it be into a tournament, whether it be for a title, there's said tons of people I'd love to work with. And I'm not going to get as specific, I guess, to also keep my options open. But yeah, I just want the opportunity to come back out there. And I felt like what we did, which was great, and Kevin's phenomenally talented and easy to work with. But I felt like I barely did anything, so to speak. And it was also a little surprising to see so many people kind of seem like they almost like forgot who I was or had never even seen me, which is wild. So I feel like, okay, well, let's just step on the gas pedal and keep doing more of what we just did this last week, and gain some more momentum and have some awesome matches, and hopefully fall into something that is really memorable, story driven wise.
So I think we lost him again, but he'll be back.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, in AEW, who on the roster currently are you most looking forward to working with?
I mean, obviously, I'd love to have another match with Kenny from the first one. One of my favorite people to work with, and that had stuff with, was Hangman. I know that was an idea as well, before I was ready to come back. Ibushi, I know, is on his injury list of his own, but he's always been like a Japan dream match for me, so I'd love to work with him. There's so many. I mean, hell, we have so many members in the Don Callis family that I wouldn't mind working with as well. Whether that be Fletcher when he comes back. Obviously, Takesha's great. I don't know what's going on with Swerve, but I've always been a big fan and close to Swerve, and now that he's kind of heel again, I feel like that adds some different value there. But I mean, we have such a great roster and so many great matches. It's almost like you could pull it just about anybody. It's not going to be a bad match.
Yeah. And also, do you feel like on the independent scene, or where you are at AEW now, like you're more free to create your character how you want and present him?
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I think that's why, even when we first started, and even now you're coming back, I've always been real indie-rific, and I love working the indies when I can. And it's also because I love wrestling, and it just kind of gives you that creative freedom. Like that, then that's one of the plus too. And not only, you get to do more on the side, but like if you're sitting in WWE, right, and you're spinning your wheels, you're not being used, you feel wasted, you kind of sit around, which can happen to AEW, can happen to any company. I'm not just picking on like WWE, but like we use WWE because then you can't do anything about it, right? You can't do nothing. So the fact that you're true independent contractor with AEW, and then you can still go do other stuff. What I loved about that is the few different times I didn't feel like I had my full creative juices going. The fact that I could go on the independent market then and have these other awesome matches, or face people, that aren't in our company that I'd love to wrestle, it definitely scratches that itch and gets that wrestling high that I'm chasing. You know what I mean? Like that. Oh, I can't go to bed at night, so I'm laying in my hotel room replaying all the different spots and moments and the fans' reactions, and you're like, oh, this is that incredible adrenaline. This is the reason why we do what we do. That is awesome. And then then you sort of go to TV and have an awesome time. But if it's like, okay, it's you're just in a backstage segment, or you're not being used, or your ski and local squash matches or enhancement matches, which is like they serve their purpose, but you're not like, for me, it's like, oh, I want to get my shit in, right? So, and on that too, people don't realize, well, the best way for me to get my shit in is for me to let other people get their shit in. I feel like too, especially when we had a bunch of dark matches during the pandemic era, everyone wanted to work me because they knew that I was going to give them a bunch of shit. And so we could have more of a 50-50, maybe not 50-50, but more of a back and forth match. As opposed, if I just come out there and I just close on you and powerbomb you and give you my finish and just squash you, eat you up, I go, hey, that's not fun. That's not exciting for me. It's not exciting for the fans. And also, that's what almost all of the matches were. So, like, how does anybody stand out then, anyways? You know, so if I had somebody that I knew or was good and was capable, I'd be like, okay, yeah, we'll do some stuff. So I felt like a lot of people were like backstage, oh, please give me Brian Cage, please give me Brian Cage. Like, I know we'll get to do some stuff. I get Brian Cage because he wants to work. So like that comes from me being almost too selfless, which I've gotten a lot to. But it's just because I love wrestling so much and I want to have, those awesome matches. And it's funny the fact that in certain perception, if you just eat somebody up, it's competitive. You can make a match almost means like you're in the inside realm. It's almost like you're more skilled and better because it's easy to just eat someone up. You could, you don't have to freaking do a whole lot if you just go out there and just squash somebody. But to have a good back and forth match and lead someone through a match and take the crowd through all the emotions and the ups and the downs and the twos and like that. That's the ride I always want to be on.
Yeah. And that's the real creative aspect of it too. And then when you're really working together, because at the end of the day, I feel like you're both putting each other over. And if it's just one person taking everything, you kind of defeat the purpose. And you're the person taking everything isn't really getting themselves over like they think they are. It's always better when it's that give and take. Just traditionally how it's always been, in my opinion. What's your favorite iteration of your character? And do all the characters you've been, or they always kind of been? They always have kind of a through line. But what's been your favorite iterations anyway?
I mean, it's probably definitely been I would say the second season of Lucha Underground. I just feel like everything from that was so much fun. And also because the first season I was just like a heel, but I was like, and that's actually why I kind of don't like being heel a lot of times. If I could be more of myself as a heel, I like a little bit more, but I feel like I get thrown in a very much like just kind of generic meathead bully, and I understand, especially behind the Mohawk and stuff, I fit that role pretty well. But then I'm like, there's not a whole lot of versatility to it. It's just kind of bland. But then where I kind of went from started getting more over as a heel and then just transitioned to being a face because the fans were just popping for me. I feel like that whole rendition of my character and everything I did in the Underground, specifically in season 2, was so awesome, was so much fun. And then not necessarily like my character, but my my storyline. The Johnny Morrison one was good, but my storyline with Sammy Callahan and TNA was especially involved my wife and stuff. It was really good. It was dragged out for a long time in a good way. And I really, really, really like that. And that's another reason too. Like I said, not like I can't be myself here, but I've had so many awesome matches in AEW, but I feel like I haven't had the awesome program or storyline to go with the awesome match, which makes it so much better.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you still see a lot ahead and more program wise than just particular matches.
Absolutely. Like I feel like there's so much I haven't done, before I got hurt, and then even then, I feel like there's almost like a sense of urgency because I just wasted, that whole last year, and we had a lot of good stuff cooking and coming up. So I'm like, all right, well, this is the time. This is the time to get going. And I don't know if you heard this. I know your computer crashed again, but I was saying too, I really want the opportunity more so to do more solo act stuff. I feel like I've always been in some sort of 6-man or tag team unit a lot, and I like tagging with Lance a lot. I do, but at this point, I think I want to just be more, solo Brian Cage stuff, and I said remind everybody, who I am, what I can do, and go out there and really just set myself apart more and more week after week after week, and then build towards wherever that said program is.
I like that a lot. Wait, we've been ignoring these comments. Steve, are there comments? I'm sorry, I can't see it on my thing. I want to make sure we get to people's questions and stuff. Here we go. Mr. Otunga and Mr. Cage should arm wrestle. Is it worked? He might beat me. Look at those biceps. Are we working this? How much are we getting paid for this?
Right? Yes. It's just we could do the old Triple H standoff. We could have a bench press. We could have arm wrestling. We have a pose down. We go through the whole 9 yards.
Do the whole thing. I love it. That would be funny. Shout out to a wrestling historian. So that's Cage's current grind. He'll kick ass at bodybuilding. He already's been kicking ass in bodybuilding, and yeah, I have no doubt. Again, that's what, 3 weeks away, a month away.
Yeah, yeah, 3 weeks, 3 weeks to change. Yeah.
Wow. And what city is it in? You have to travel
Las
for
Vegas.
it? Oh, it's in Vegas.
Nope. Yep.
Oh, a home game. Oh, that's dope, man. Good luck. I'll be looking out. I can't wait to see the pictures.
Appreciate it, man.
You holding the title, the sword, whatever they give you.
Yeah,
for
I don't have, like, I'm in my little gimmick room, but I forgot it's in my gym in my garage is where my battle axe, like my other overall trophies are. I would hold them up when I said kicking ass in bodybuilding, but those are in the gym. But yeah, well, hopefully we'll get a couple of new trophies to add to the list.
Yeah, bodybuilding always has such cool trophies too, like the weapons.
Speaking of which, too, look at this. I made this a little before I got hurt. I never got to use it. I was going to take it on the Indies and hopefully use it on TV. But look, it's the Body Guy Championship.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
like,
that is so clever too.
With the Sandow trophy, 45 plate.
Oh,
it's so good. Really and then even my sponsor Redcon there on the belt. So the gimmick I was going to do with it was I was going to go around and defend it. That's nothing too. It's heavy. Like, I don't want to travel that thing, but I was like I wanted to defend it, but then the kind of gimmick behind it was like every title defense almost wouldn't become a defense because you'd have to be a body guy to fight for the title, and then I would basically bury you, so you're not up to my standard to be counted as a body guy. So it'd be kind of like a heel dick move, but yeah, I thought it was so great. But yeah, the title itself is so cool and so unique. And obviously it's here, so it's not like it's going anywhere. It doesn't mean we can't still use it at some point in time. But that was the game plan right before I got hurt. Yeah,
it's funny to me too because yeah, you're a body guy, but you're not, because body guys traditionally can't move. You've got the body for it, for sure, but you're so the opposite of that and can do everything that. Hey, you know what? You're redefining the image of body guys. I like that. Coming from a body guy.
100%. I just listened to a recent interview too. I even said, I go, listen, I'm a body guy. He's like, if you're looking jacked, you're going to catch my eye, I'm going to be interested. I go, but through and through, I was like, I'm a wrestler. I'm not a bodybuilder trying to be a wrestler. I'm a wrestler just happens to bodybuild. So I'm like, if you're a body guy and you look awesome, hey, that's awesome. But then I got to see how you move in the ring, especially, and compared to me, it's like, because if you look great, but you got 2 left feet in the ring, I go, I don't care. I don't care how good you look anymore. Then you still have to be able to perform out there. So it's not just about being a body guy, but it's a nice addition.
Yeah. It helps. It helps marketability, but you can't
for sure
have the body. There's a whole lot more that goes into it. A whole lot more. I want to ask this too, because I want to get back into the training split and everything. And I know you said you always trained like a bodybuilder. Do you ever do anything for like explosive, like athletic power or like Olympic movements?
Yeah, no, I would. I used to have my like on my off days, which still would, I guess, be a work day, right? I'd go back in and I would do more explosive stuff and more jump stuff and box jumps and sprints and whatever else. And I'd rotate through that. Even then, before I got hurt, I started doing more of it. And then when I was rehabbing back, there'd be certain days where I couldn't fully train like I'd want to or rehab, so I would do certain like kind of full body, like kind of kettlebell kind of situations that could still be used towards more of an athletic base. But like I said too, like, and I do like that, and it trains a little bit differently, hits a little different. But at the same token, as I said at the beginning of the podcast too, I was like, I do feel like if as long as you're still just training and applying yourself into advancing, like you can still adapt that and apply that towards any sort of situation. Like, yeah, if I just bodybuild and just, sat on the couch and did nothing else, yeah, I feel like, yeah, you obviously would degrade as far as your athleticism goes. But as long as you're still doing everything else, I feel like it helps apply the strength gain from weight training, and it's a condition aspect too. I almost never blow up in the ring either, especially for the intensity and how I train and like the short rest periods. And the commentator is almost going to say, I got to cut a promo about that. commentators 9 out of 10 times, it's like whenever I'm in a match, they will say, "Oh, you got to imagine the longer this match goes, it's got to favor whoever my opponent is because Brian Cage carrying all that muscle mass is gonna blow." I go, listen, I almost never blow up ever. I was like, my first match back that Friday at WrestleMania week, and I had 3 matches. Guess what? All 3 of my opponents were huffing puffing. I was fine every single one. I was like, I'm good to go. So I'm like, we need to switch that. I understand why that makes sense and why I should get more tired. I go, but I usually just train so high or such a high intensity that, and I use that for my conditioning as well. Is just the intensity of the weight training.
That's a great analogy too, because like the rest periods, especially if you keep rest periods, relatively short in between sets, it's kind of like a match. Like you have a quick little high spots.
It's hit training. Yeah, it's just like hit training with weights. Yeah.
Yeah. It really is, and that's what a match is. So it lends itself perfectly to that style of training, in a way, which is very, very cool. Very cool. Okay, what other questions do we have from people, Steve? On that note, did Cage enjoy X-Men 97? And is he looking forward
Absolutely. Best thing Marvel's produced and freaking ever. Absolutely loved it. I was so thrilled. I wouldn't watch it on the road. I had to come home and watch it in my chair, my upstairs like loft with the surround set. Like I had to watch it perfectly. And I remember the final episode, I'm watching it, and my wife had her brother and his family over, and everyone kept walking into the room, and they talk to me or say something, so I'd pause it, and I'd respond to them, and then I would start all the way over. I don't care where I was at in the episode. I'm like, I'm watching this, and I'd watch the intro over every single time. I was like, I'm watching this from intro to credits rolling without uninterrupted. So every time someone interrupts me, I won't be rude. I'll say hi, whatever, whatever, talk to them for a second. Be like, all right, start it back up. Let's do it again. But yeah, I'm the hugest just X-Men cartoon fan. That's what really got me into Marvel and superheroes was that cartoon series. And 97 was so great. I can't wait for the next one. As much as I'm stoked about Doomsday, I don't know. I'm really stoked still for the second season of X-Men 97. It was especially because like it was still a cartoon, but it definitely was geared towards adults because everyone who watched it is my age now. So it's like you're a kid that watched the original one. So, but yeah, I thought they did a phenomenal job at it.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I'm excited for Doomsday as well too. Is there any chance? Has anybody reached out to you about playing the live action version of Wolverine?
They have not. Trust me, I would have popped huge for the opportunity to have been some sort of variant in that Deadpool scene, Deadpool Wolverine. There is. So hold on, let me grab this comic.
All right.
So there was this. So especially when I had my mohawk, and I was like, so it's Daken, it's Wolverine's son, and he gets the Spirit of Vengeance, which is Ghost Rider. But I'm like, I mean, you tell me. I feel like somebody looks like a Brian Cage fan when they made that. When they made that cover,
yeah,
right,
totally.
Right. Especially when I had my mohawk, I was like, look, I'm not trying to send a cease and desist to Marvel. I'm just saying, but if you guys want, if someone's a Brian Cage fan over there, we could do something. I'm just saying, right. I'm here. What's up, buddy?
I think that would be dope, man. If you were Wolverine,
it was so
Marvel.
It was so cool, so cool. Yeah. Look, I'm not asking for my own movie. You give me just a little something. I break you a deal too. I'll give you half my rate too. How about that? A Carew treat. We do have I do have a small part in Disclosure Day that comes out here in a few weeks, the Steven Spielberg movie. And it's like some stupendous part, but it was amazing about it was that Steven Spielberg himself contacted me and said, "Hey, I want you for this role. You're perfect for it. You're exactly what I envisioned, what I want for it. Can you do it?" And I'm like, what? Yes. So it was pretty great. And then, it was so cool. And he was so cool. He was so awesome. And then they wanted me to have a match and a fight scene with somebody else comfortable with. So then I got to bring in Lance, who I was teaming with, to be in the movie with me. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was such a great opportunity. It also happened a few weeks before I hurt my knee. But again, like to get the email, first it was the email from the AD saying that he watched everything with the director, and the director loved me, this, that, whatever, and wanted me to call him. And I called them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, so Steven thinks this, and Steven thinks that, and this." I go, "Steven? So I didn't know. And they're like, oh yeah, Steven Spielberg, the director, he loves you. He don't want you. I go, what? So I was like, that's pretty awesome.
That is dope. That is super dope. Man, that's awesome. So do you have any aspirations to continue acting after this? Or
I've done some other stuff. What, you want to say hi? My son's gonna want to say hi. You want to say hi?
Sure. Hey, my drink too. Hi, buddy.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It's got my protein drink.
You got protein in there, I'm sure.
I've got I've done a few things, and it's always fun, and I enjoy it quite a bit. But there's never like I'm just not going to say no to any role. But it's kind of like when I told everybody I got signed to WWE. I remember that was like right around the time, I think it was Brock was going over to UFC or whatever, and everybody's like, "Oh, are you going to go over to the UFC?" And I go, "No, I just had to get signed. But like, this is my dream. This is my passion. Yeah, I love UFC, but I'm not passionate about that. So as much as I love being in movies and film stuff that I've done, it's great, and I absolutely love doing it. It's not the same passion where like I'm going out there and I'm chasing that dream. You know what I mean? Like I'm still trying to chase the dream that I'm a part of right now, and I'm very happy to doing that. I've gotten auditions or like I said, something's fallen in my lap. I love it. It's a blast, and I would love to do more of it, but it's not like it's like something that like it's a be all end all of my that I gotta put all my eggs in that basket and go chase that.
Right. Do you feel like when you did it, like being a wrestler helped? Because like for me, I felt like being a wrestler, you have to do everything live, and we have a fair amount of improvisation, and you have to be able to react to things on the fly. Whereas doing film or television, you might take the same scene 30 times or something like that, and it's the same lines, which made it really easy for me and just to adapt. Just because as wrestlers, like we're so prepared for anything. Did you have any similar experience like that?
It was funny too. Not like I've had some auditions have been pretty long, but just like even my match memory, like I can call match and remember it real quick. I can read a script and memorize it like instantaneously. Not that me you always perform because you remember it, but I can usually hold on to it pretty quick and pretty easily. I do think that there's the aspect of retaking and redoing it makes it easier compared to us. You get one take and that's it usually. And it's all live. It does get a bit redundant. Like I always joke about that too, when they're like, "Oh, that was it, absolutely perfect. That was can't get better than that. Let's do one more though. Let's just do one." I was like, "What?" Like I said, I've done a handful of stuff. It's been a lot of fun, and it does translate well. Like even in the bodybuilding show, I remember the very first bodybuilding show I did. So like, "You've never done a show before?" I go, "No." And then when I went out there and did my routine, they're like, "What?" I go, "Well, I'm a pro wrestler, so like being half naked on the stage in front of people, it's still the same kind of boat there. So it's like it's still so different." So and my wife has done a bunch of different acting stuff, and she's actually a really good actress. But so she'll kind of help cue me on certain things. But I don't I'm not trying to be freaking Denzel Washington. Obviously, I know I'm not going to be. Realistically, just as far as a fan, doing that Wolverine variant or any sort of Marvel movie, that'd be amazing. I'm a huge horror movie fan, so if I could get killed or kill somebody in a horror movie, awesome. And then I just want an awesome fucking fight scene in some cool fight movie. That's it. If I did those three things, that Hollywood Walk of Fame, that would be amazing. It's not even that's what to ask.
You know what? I don't understand. My son mentioned this today, actually, on the way to school. But he's like, why don't they have more wrestlers like in action films, like for the fight scenes? Because it would make the fight scenes awesome. Like we can really do this stuff. And he was just saying how like action movies, he doesn't feel like there's kind of like a lull in action movies, like the fight scenes and stuff. I don't know why that is, but I feel like there should be a push for more pro wrestlers,
for sure. Because a lot of them have the look, and then also boys of them can all just do their own bumps and stunts and whatnot.
Yeah.
I see this really cool independent He-Man movie recently, and even that, when I got shot by something, and the bumps I was taking for it, they're like, "Oh, are you okay?" I go, "Yeah. We're wrestling, bro. Calm down. Like it's no big deal." All the I freaking love all the small baddie roles that Nathan Jones gets, and it's great because he's freaking a massive individual. You know what I mean? It's just, I was saying, stuff like that. Those are such I don't see they're easy or simple, throwaway roles, but they're so cool. At least to me, I'm like, oh, I would love to do that. Like, oh, if I could fight Jet Li in some fight scene, he could whoop my ass, and I could get eaten by a zombie and then Wolverine can stab me. I go, that'd be awesome. I fucking love all that.
That'll be dope. That'll be dope. Steve, there was a question that came up that I missed. All right. You have some of the best pop culture inspired gear in the business. What is one franchise or character you desperately wanted to do a gear tribute to, but weren't able to pull off yet?
There's several. The first one right off the gate was this really cool cable one that I had from Deadpool 2 that I never finished getting made. They got worn. I actually have a couple of different Mortis outfits and tributes to Kane that I haven't worn yet. I still wore the King, the Zangief. And that was funny too. Like a lot of people, I feel like in AEW would kind of hate on me sometimes because of my look was too like WWE. And so for like a lot of the smarter crowds, I feel like they'd be like, "Oh, he belongs to WWE, he shouldn't be here." Like, But then I started coming out because I'm a big nerd, right? So I come out in like Zangief gear or freaking with a cape or like Wolverine or like King from Tekken or whatever. And then all of a sudden I'm awesome. I'm like, wait. I come out, I look jacked and I look like a wrestler, I'm lame. But if I come out and look like a cosplay character, this guy's amazing. I go, okay, whatever. Hey, we'll float you guys' boat. I get it.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome. All right, Steve, what else we got over there? Memories of Canyon putting you over in your hometown.
That's my all-time favorite match, and definitely my top 3 favorite moments in my life, in my existence. Like to be able to wrestle my idol, inspiration, and good friend who's no longer with us in my hometown, in my home promotion. And I remember I did not want to put him over. I want him to go over. He's like, "No, kid. Like, listen, I get it. You probably, you want to have a big rematch at WrestleMania and you finally, pull up the big victory. I understand where your head's at." He goes, "Unfortunately, it's probably not going to happen." He goes, you need to go over." And I remember that match, and I was still pretty green then too. But that match was so good. It was so awesome. It was just the overall, like, is it my best match? Absolutely not. But for me and for what it meant to me, it will forever be my favorite match I've ever had, and it will never be beat.
Speaking of that, what do you think is your best match?
So I always say there's one. I don't know if it's the best, but there's one versus a guy named Nakajima and Noah in Japan for the world title over there that I had. That is, I mean, I just every time I watch that or anytime somebody recently just made a clip, like a highlight clip of it, and every time I see it, it's so snug and so good and just so like it's really awesome. Hey, Dave Meltzer gave it a 4.75 star, but I mean, I have some ones I really like. Actually, there's matches too. A lot of people haven't seen with TJ. My matches with Ospreay, but that one with Nakajima was really awesome, and I feel like it was more low key because Noah was at a lower point then, so a lot of people saw it. Nakajima doesn't have the same name values as a lot of top Japan stars, and it usually gets pretty raved about. So I feel like if that's not number one, it's definitely 2 or 3. There's a match at Slammiversary, TNA against Michael Elgin, who is a very similar style to me as far as getting his shit in. We have an awesome match, but more so, it was coming back from injury where I was still actually hurt. So the match was sucking the whole time. But now how great the match is, or how good my performance is, pushing through the pain and everything is another one where I think not only is it sentimental and important to me, but it's still like fucking really good, really good. So those just off the top of my head, those are probably the first ones that would come to me that I really like to watch.
Okay, cool. Who would be dream matches for you? Like
AJ Styles is number one. He has been since I started. I mean, prime Shawn Michaels, but that's unrealistic. I've always wanted to work AJ though since I first started.
That'd be dope.
He's so good. I just talked about the 2 on Twitter. Another guy from Noah, Marufuji. I've wanted to work forever. He's so good, and he's invented so much stuff. Absolutely would love the opportunity to work with him. I mean, then you have obviously all your top guys, which you'd have fun with and do great with, whether it be guys of yesteryear or today. I mean, from The Rock to Roman Reigns or whatever. But for just like a personal, flavor of ice cream, AJ Styles number one, and then I would say Marufuji probably right there, net behind him. Kenny, I mean, I got to finally wrestle Kenny last year as well. I would love to have I think it was a fine match, but it wasn't the match we could have. So he would still be up there in that regard.
Okay. Another question. So who were some of your inspirations going up, like wrestlers like you idolized or looked up to or took things from growing up?
So Shawn Michaels was always my all-time favorite. Honorable mention, shout out to Razor Ramon. Um, and then, funny enough, the three guys I wanted to emulate in the ring, in many different aspects, were the three different Chris's, which was Chris Benoit, though I know he gets hated on, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, and then Chris Canyon. And I've actually got references to all three of them, which has been incredible. But
dope.
in Canyon being the most as far as his innovative moveset and his style and his bumping and his styling, which is all kind of where I parlay my Mr. Get my shit in attitude from. But yeah, those three were definitely the three that I was like, oh, if I could take those three guys and make them into like one perfect wrestler, I was like, that'd be it.
Okay. Now you mentioned Jericho, who I know, still works at AEW. Does he ever talk to you, give you advice? Like, are there any wrestlers backstage, like, who you, still look at or look up to as like a mentor, still get advice from and talk to you?
I talked to Jericho a couple times when I first got there. Funny enough, actually, we were just texting recently, and he wasn't there when I came back, and I plan on talking to him when we get back on the road full time. And there's so many bets in there, and I don't feel like even I'm at fault too that we don't take advantage of that enough, because they're all there and nobody's like withholding information or against talking, but at the same time, I don't think they want to just go around, telling everyone what they think if it doesn't want to be known. I will say probably Dean Malenko and Jerry Lynn are probably two of the ones I talk to the more. That are backstage with the agents. But yeah, no, there's too. Adam Copeland, Edge. I've talked to him quite a bit, and also we had one match where it was pretty rad. He was like super protective of me. Like he actually jumped out of the seat, kind of got hot over a couple things that someone would even imply or suggest that I should do this or take this, and I was like, oh. I was like, in my head too, I was like, I don't care, I'll do that. And he's like, no, you look at him, you can't do it. Like it was pretty cool. I was like, all right, that's a nice little flex. But yeah, so like, and I've talked to him too before about wanting to do stuff together. Going back to taking moves, I said there's one more thing. So even though I still bump my ass off and I don't care, there is. I used to say yes to everything, especially any sort of driver or anything crazy. Now, not so much, not because. I the bump hard and I've got older, my neck will sometimes hurt, but also I'm like, oh, my size is a lot bigger. I'm usually wrestling guys that are a lot smaller. They're like, oh, can I give you this crazy, ridiculous driver? And I go, can you? Like, that's a real question. Like, if I say yes, okay, I'll let you give it to me, but can you actually give it to me without, being able to protect me? Because I remember this guy, Super Dragon from PWG, he's this crazy psycho driver. And this one show, he's like, "Oh, can you come out at the end?" And I'm gonna just start bumping everybody. Like, can I give you a psycho driver? And I went, well, I don't know, can you? And he went, well, I don't know actually. I go, well, I'm glad I asked. And then he goes to pick me up for it. He goes, yeah, maybe don't come out. I go, well, shit, I'm glad I asked, because when I came out, you're like, well, I guess I'm just gonna dump him on his head because I don't know what to do with it. But
that's interesting, because that's something I was wondering about too. Like, as you started to get bigger, now your stature changes. That affects like how you sell and what moves like you will take in the ring. And so, like, in doing that, was that more of like a gradual thing, or was there a point where you were like, wait a minute, I shouldn't be taking like all this stuff I'm taking now? Like, how was that progression?
It was definitely a gradual thing, because even a lot of people would say it, that I would do too much and that I was too selfless and take too much. But I'm also thinking like, oh, I want the best match possible. And then it took hearing a lot, and we're really watching it and going, especially when I see it from certain people, and I go, I guess that does look a little silly to take that from this person, or the fact that I'm doing all this person, and like, okay, hold on, there's got to be a little bit more rhyme and reason in certain situations, rather than just having a cool match to have a cool match. So. And actually, even Paul Heyman told me this one time. He messaged me and he goes, "Look, if you walk out the curtain and you stand out from your first step out, but then you go in the ring and you wrestle like everyone else, you just took away everything that makes you special from the jump." You know what I mean? So he's like, I understand you can do all that and you want to do all that. He goes, and I'm not saying not to do it all. I'm saying, yeah, do everything you can do, but just do it in the right times, the right places, the right amounts, and then also let people sell more. That's one thing too. He goes, you do so much stuff and so do it so well and so great, but then if the person can't register and sell it, because also I remember one friend told me, he goes, look, you should just start, stiffing people more, like hitting people harder. And I go, why? He goes, oh, that way they can just get a bigger pop and they'll sell it more. I go, I shouldn't have to hit them harder. They should just sell it big. Like, if some little guy clotheslines you, and I do say that sometimes when people do try to critique me for like some of my dives or spring, like, oh, cool wrestling like a cruiserweight. I go, well, look, if I jump and I flip over the rope and land on my feet, it's because I literally can just jump and flip over the rope and land on my feet. I go, if some little guy suplexes at me, it's because I'm just doing all the work for him. But yeah, you guys pop for that. I go, also on the flip side, I go, if there's two little guys and he gives them a big clothesline and they do a 360 inside out bump on the clothesline, hey, that's cool, that's cute. But now what are you going to do when I clothesline you?
Right.
You know what I mean? How do you bump bigger than that now? So
that's a good point.
And I feel like that's one that people don't look at a lot. Like
that's a very good point, actually.
Right? Exactly.
Because like a little guy clotheslined another one or two cruiserweights, and he does that. Yeah, the flip up.
Yeah.
What you should take his head off. What do you do? Clothesline? He's going to bump out of the ring? Like do a
exactly.
Out? Like,
and that goes back to like I shouldn't have to do more. They should just sell more. You know what I mean? And that's going back to what Heyman was saying too. But and obviously I can let them sell, but it's also up to the person to want to sell and also sell bigger and more and animated to because you can't just be dead fish on the mat. You know what I mean? But it's up to them to take it and make it look like, oh crap, this clothesline is from Brian Cage, not from whoever. So and there are certain people I've worked with who are great, who really want to milk that because obviously too, it makes the match better. There's more psychology to it, and then you get more mileage out of doing nothing. So
yeah, the in between stuff and really letting it breathe and all that.
I did feel like I did a lot less and moved a lot slower pace in a good way against Kevin. Actually, this recent match, and I'll put him up. He did a phenomenal job at selling a couple of moves that I gave him like really, really well. So it definitely helped put me over in that aspect. And then it's easier because then that's it too. Like, right. It's all action and reaction. Yeah. So if I catch you some cool move and you bump it and then you just speed right up, I mean, I can't not go get you. But like if I kill you and everybody goes, oh, and you sell that and you're not dead selling, but like animatedly dead selling. So I can go get my stuff in and flex and pose or take my time, whatever. Okay, now we're working together. And it's easier to get to that story point. So, but yeah, it's I shouldn't have to kill somebody. They should just want to sell more. I mean, the same thing. And I love, funny enough too, I think the biggest negative for me in getting bigger is I love bumping. I think that's why I take so much stuff. I love bumping. Like the bigger bumps and more I can sell from it. I feel like the less it hurts and the more I get, it's like it gets me out of my journal going bumping and feeding and selling. So on the negative, I feel like gaining the size works against me in that regard because then it looks kind of silly for me to do it to certain people, or I just don't. The opportunity for me, doesn't always work as well. So, and I feel like even at FCW, I feel like there's a lot of people that would want to like test out their moves on me because I feel like I try to make people's stuff look really good. Just as much as I want to do cool things, I try to make everyone else's stuff look as good as possible as well.
Yeah, well, that's a testament to you, and just as a performer, like that's how it should be. Is you want to make other people make them and make their moves look amazing and get it over as well as your own. Yeah, and shout out to Kevin Knight too, man. I text you. I watched that match. I was super impressed. I thought you guys put on a heck of a match. Like I really, really enjoyed it, and the story that was told. I even text you like that Herd Karana spot. That was dope, man. Like. He fell off and you caught him. I've never seen that before. It picked him up. It looked like by one leg and then finished it up. Like to me, that was the spot of the match, man. Like
for sure.
I really enjoyed that.
It definitely stood out, and it was supposed to come out that way, but it definitely stood out. And I'm like, that's one of those things where, not everything's pretty, not everything comes out how you want it to, but that makes it more of a struggle. But it makes it come across even better. Like I saw somebody say, like, man. The way you grabbed him is like how I pick up my kid when I'm wrestling around with him, and he just like dragged him back up because it was so cool. And then it made the freaking counter into the Rana more of a desperate like last minute save. It did. I was kind of worried at first, and then looking back, it looked great. And then the commentators they put it over so well. And even just when they start laughing, like at the ridiculousness of it, as I'm dragging him back up the ropes, like, no, get over here, little kid. I'm about to kill you. Yeah, no, Kevin was great. And even that, as good a match we had, I was like, oh, I'd love to work Kevin again. Throwing it back to the Kenny match because like what we did was fine, but I know we could do so much more. You know what I mean? Given the opportunity. So
yeah, he impressed me. He made a fan out of me. I'll say that he made a fan out of me in that. And that spot was so dope. I know it wasn't planned, bro. You could have planned that. You might need to think of something.
Yeah, right. I know. I was kind of thinking after the fact. I go, I guess that could be one of my go-to things now, right? So, and then the catch on the outside dive too was sweet. And I was even worried that like the one where I kind of like talk about the bodybuilding show too. I remember even that the way I catch him, I can see my hamstrings popping. I go, oh man, I'm ready.
Yeah, you were super grainy, man. That was dope. You definitely had prepared for that, my man. That was dope. Yeah. Okay, Steve, what's the next question we got up here? Is there a specific promo class segment in FCW or piece of advice from Dusty Rhodes that stuck with you even after you left?
So I remember the very first promo class. So because I don't know, it was like my first week there, right? And I remember like a lot of it was kind of like you find out. So I remember it was promo class day, so once on a Wednesday, and I know like Spears or somebody was in there doing a promo, someone who just like was on ECW. So I thought they were just like working with them. So we're doing whatever drills in the ring, we're doing this and that, and I'm done, I'm breathing, I'm drinking some water, and I can hear him, cut the promo. So I just like peek in the arena doors just to like check out what's going on there. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm just like watching, like, oh, that's neat. And Dusty stops and looks at me and goes, all right, Logan, let's go. And I'm like, what? Like I was like, what are we doing? Like I don't have a promo. Like what's happening? Like I thought I went in there like thinking like I had a promo. I was supposed to have a promo. Like and then I was like, well, I don't know what to say. I was so caught off guard. And I remember he had just had like a hip surgery or something. So he's coming over with his little pimp cane, walk so slowly. And he goes, let me tell you something, kid. You get the fuck out of here. You get the fuck out of here. You come back in here. You come here and say fucking no to me. He's got a huge problem on me. I'm like, oh shit, what did I just do? And I'm like, now I feel all bad and like horrible. Like, oh, did I just like, I just peeking my head and what was going on. And I remember Sin Bodhi came and talked to me. He goes, no, don't worry, you're fine. And I talked to him and it was good. I do remember liking all the Nightclaw promos I did there.
Yeah.
And that there was a good story. I remember he calls me in and he goes, all right, listen, kid. He goes, you good, you real good. You're like Trent Beretta, TJ Wilson good. He goes, but we need you. He goes, we need you to like stand out. You got to be different. Can't just be a good wrestler. He goes, you look like that one guy. What's that guy's name? You remember Matt that worked there too?
Yeah,
like his little yeah. He goes, you look at that one, Matt. No, what's that guy's name? That Honey Badger? What's that Honey Badger? He was the Wolverine. That's the from Fire. Yeah, that's right. The Wolverine. You look like the Wolverine, but you trademark. You can't be that. You can't be that. You gotta be somebody else though. And then I was like, oh, well, there's this amalgam universe where it's Batman and Wolverine put together, and it's Darkclaw. I could just steal that and be Nightclaw instead. And I go, all right, let's try that. Let's try that. That sounds pretty cool. But yeah, I remember that story. I love seeing that because we was trying to say the Wolverine, which is funny because the Wolverine is like the third most aggressive animal in the world, and the Honey Badger is number one. So I in my head, I go, did he just get confused of which animal is what? But he called yelling back at Matt. What's that name? The Honey Badger? What's that guy's name? Wolverine, Dusty. Oh yeah, it's right, the Wolverine.
I didn't realize that's how the Nightclaw character came about.
Yeah, that's it was. And then he goes, yeah. And then we're gonna bring you back on TV like a superhero. And then Hurricane came back, and they're like, well, now they got that. So all right, maybe we'll bring you back or bring you up as like a super villain, because I started doing like villain promos or like good guy promos. And then obviously nothing ever happened. So nevertheless, you know what? Speaking of which, look, I still have the Nightclaw stuff right there.
Oh,
nice. I wore it for a couple of years ago or so. I wore it for a random Halloween thing. But yeah, I still have a lot of my old gear. Well, what? Not to. I'm going to be talking for a minute, but I got to eat again. I got to get ready to go to go over to the ring and roll around with these guys. What do you want to send off on?
Man, I mean, okay, let's start winding down. Is there anything you want people to know, or you think people get wrong about you, or misconceptions you want to clear up?
Wow, that's pretty good. We already said one about that I'm not a bodybuilder, trying to be I'm a wrestler through and through. Misconceptions. It's a few things. Everybody always talks about me losing the world title to Tessa in Impact Wrestling, which never happened. I did put over Tessa, who's one of my very, very good friends, but I didn't lose a world title to her. I don't know why that one always annoys me when people say that. Am I Dusty Rhodes, right, or Ric Flair, or these guys on the mic? Absolutely not. I'm not going to act like I am. But when everybody acts like I can't talk or can't cut a promo, yet every time I have a promo aired on AEW or on AEW socials, everybody goes, "Oh my God, that was such a good promo from Brian Cage." And I go, "So is it the fact that I can't talk, or is it the fact that I just don't get to talk that much?" I feel like the AEW audience has been the biggest audience I've got to perform for. Unfortunately, I do feel like as great of matches I've had in AEW, I feel like I have shown the least I am able to do in AEW, maybe compared to everywhere else, especially Lucha Underground. I could have did so much there. But and not say that I haven't done a lot there, but I just feel like that's how much I still feel like I not only have in the tank because I just have that much left in the tank, but that I still have so much I haven't done to the full extent that I'd like to do it. So I never wavered about coming back. And that's why I feel like there's so much left to be done in AEW. So I understand, hey, not everyone's gonna be a fan, gonna love you, and that's okay, right? You know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I want to do the homage to Canyon saying who better than Cage. I do say that also in somewhat of a realistic things when it comes to being like, you know, the all around best inside the ring, outside the ring, as far as how much work ethic and discipline and ability and every facet of wrestling that I tried to improve myself. I don't think there is anybody better. I mean, the fact that I came back from all these surgeries as fast as I did in better shape than I already was. So, and continue in better shape than everybody else that's already there when I had every excuse not to. I mean, I feel like that in itself shows how much I want this. And then to come back and, you know, do 3 independent matches in one day and travel around, goes to the Indies and finally get to debut back at AEW and whatever. I'm just saying, like, I don't want it any less now than I did when I told Jim that I was moving to Atlanta to go chase this dream. So I've been doing it for this long and this successful, and it means just as much to me now as it did yesterday. So,
and I think it shows, man, that even, you know, talking to you, obviously, but I can see it. And the shape that you came back in, especially after being injured, bro, that's not easy, man. It's not easy to get to that shape to begin with, but then having been injured and having to kind of start over and get back to it, where to me you look like you're in the best shape I've ever seen you in. So like that shows the dedication and like perseverance. Like, yo, you're not fooling around. Like, this is something that you take super serious. The fact that you have to get off now to go eat and then go trade, I love it. I'm doing the same thing right here. I got my shaker.
There it is. Also, you know, too, and that first night back to, I don't know if I showed that clip or seen that clip. Like, I made sure too. Like, I was like, all right, you know, I'll change my style a little bit, but I did this little jump, turn around, top rope, super hurricanrana, just so like in the last match, just to be like, see, I still got the tricks. I go, my knees are fine. Like, I'm not going anywhere. So.
But you're taking Paul Heyman's advice. Like,
for sure.
Right? Like, that's why, like, you have so much more to show at AEW. Like, your bag is deep, bro. You got one of the deepest bags. So it's like, it's gonna take you a while to.
And I got, trust me, I busted off that little spinny cutter against Kevin, but I got quite a few new shit that I've worked on. And I thought about why I've been out. That obviously, you know, I haven't had the opportunity to show. So it's we got plenty. You said it. I got a deep bag. So.
And I would to revisit this. I didn't realize this was a thing. For anybody, you know, being surprised about your promos, yo, man, he's like that. Because we were in FCW. I was in these promo classes with Dusty. You reminded me when I saw you at WrestleCon. I had totally forgot I came in and cut a promo on you one day.
Yes.
You said it in front of my son, so he was asking me about it in the car. I was like, you know what? You were doing the gimmick, the owner of the spotlight, is what you said, right? I feel like this was right after we had just had a match, so that I had to come up with a promo. And my son's mom, Jennifer, had the song Spotlight out. That was her first single. And I remember I came in to cut my promo, and I got in the ring, and I acted like I got a phone call right in the middle, and it was her. And I was said something to the effect of, "Oh yeah, you know, I know he says he's the owner of the spotlight, but it's you." And you're right. And I threw some reference into your real last name. It's like, yeah, he's like I don't know, bootleg Benjamin Button or something like that.
Yeah. It was good. I remember it popped me hard. I was like, so we jokingly had said something to you. I was like, because I think you cut a promo on somebody else that was pretty good. And I said something to regards like, you know, like, oh, you can't do that on me. And I know what it was. But you're like, okay, we'll see. And then I had no idea you were doing a promo about me. And then right out the gate, when you mentioned the spotlight thing, I was like, oh, he's taking a jab. And then we started throwing out the other little, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Which is funny too. Surprising how many people can get a little butthurt on promos. Like I love Max Caster's raps. He buries you. Speaking of promos, I do a great one back to him at this Warrior Wrestling one. But I remember he did one on me. He goes, "Hey, do you want to know what I'm going to like? Is it okay?" I go, No. Don't tell me. I'm excited to hear it. I want to hear it. He goes, "Well, I don't want you to be upset." I go, "Bro, I'm not going to be upset." I go, "At worst case, if it does upset me, I'm still going to pop harder." I'm like, "Oh damn, you got me mad." Like I was like, "This is wrestling, dude. I'm not going to be mad about anything." I go, "I'm excited to hear it because it's good. And I want if you can pop me, then." As Tommy Dreamer was going to say, like, "Oh, if you can pop the boys, you're going to pop the fans." You know what I mean? So, but yeah, no, I remember he started going off. I was like, "Oh, this is phenomenal! This is so good." So it was great.
Thank you. And that's what was always fun to me too. I'm the same with you. Like, if somebody cut a promo on me, I love that. Like, because that's helping get both of us over, and then I can respond to it, or I don't even have to.
For sure,
it helps me. And then, from a performance standpoint, like once I started doing that, I started then trying to cut a promo on a different person like every week. And it made it so much more fun. It was like a creative exercise. Yeah. But I really enjoyed those promo classes. But anyway, like I was saying, yo, man, your promos were great. Don't sleep on this guy's promos. Don't be shocked. I think it's more because hey, your physique is top notch. So people don't expect you to be able to talk with it. And so
well, you know what? But even like kind of like in Lucha Underground that first season, Rex, I never really talked, and then Taz it all talking for me in AEW. Like I said, I just kind of have that mean, like heater, just the background. I call him like the semi main boss, right? Like the semi boss before you fight the main boss. Kind of look and stagger, and I'm like, yeah, but like when I came back after being on TV for a while, and I cut this promo on Wardlow. I was like, "Oh, that's the best promo ever." And then I cut this promo on Ricky Starks for his term. Like, "Dude, that's the best promo Cage's ever done." And then I had this promo on freaking Swerve and a few different ones Ring of Honor for the trio titles. Like, "Dude, those are the best promos ever." And then I did one after I won the match where I faced Kenny, and it was, "Oh, the best." Anyways, you see what I'm saying? Like every time I cut a promo, I go, which isn't often that I get to, but every time I do, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, well, Brian just cut the best promos in his career." And I go, so again, that's why I said, like, is that I can't talk, or is it just that you guys don't get to hear me talk enough? So every time you do, you're like, "Oh, whoa, wait a minute."
All right. Well, I'm gonna be looking forward to the perception of that changing. Yeah, looking forward.
Yes. I mean, I want there to be a lot of change. I mean, we always do, right? So, but little by little, day by day. So I'm hoping that first and foremost, I just get more opportunities to show out and remind everyone, who I am. Because also too, like, even though we just talked about like my promos would be better, like for a fan, as just my flavor of ice cream, as Tom would always say too, Dr. Tom, like I've always liked the sport aspect inside the ring. You know what I mean? Like there's an entertainment aspect, there's a promo aspect. Like my number one thing is inside the ring. So I also feel like that's what I'm the best at as well. And I feel like the best way to resonate and remind everybody is to go back out there. Obviously, too, I'm in great shape, so they're going to see my physique. But I want people not to get lost in that, like we just talked about, think that that's all I am. I want everybody to remind, like, okay, shit, Andy can go like this, and then move forward from there.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, let your work do the talking for you. But if you need to, kind of like Brock Lesnar, like he's got a Paul Heyman. Yeah. But if you give Brock a mic, like he can cut a good promo. But he doesn't.
Oh, his UFC ones are great. Yeah, if I want to show up, I'm gonna walk up the curtain, like Paul Heyman to do. I'm gonna stand out for how I look. Then I'm gonna get in the ring and I'm gonna freaking let my work do the talking for me. And then once I build up heat, now let me do the actual talking. Let's build it to an actual program and storyline and get some mileage out of something. So
yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, I can see that. Well, hey man, I don't want to hold you up from the gym from your next meal. I appreciate you coming to hang though. This was dope, man. This was really cool.
yes. I'm glad. I knew right away I was gonna open up with the walking pair of pecs line. So when that was the first day I saw, like, damn, this guy's fucking pecs are ginormous.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think the only other time I've ever said that was just with the girl who had ginormous fake boobs. So it's you and her. That's it. It's you. I've turned my hair with a pair of pecs.
That's what's up. I appreciate it. Well, yeah, brother. I mean, anything else you want to say before I let you go?
I think that's it. I mean, I feel like people know all the socials, right? I can say like the proteins.com, Brian Cage on Twitter, Instagram, X, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, man, no, just for everyone who saw me versus Kevin and gave me all the love, I appreciate it. Thanks for shouting me out and for making me look good in all the socials, and just stick with me because I think we're on the verge of a hell of a ride. The match has been lit. We just need a little bit of gasoline and we're ready to rock and roll.
Most definitely. Well, if I can do anything to pour gas on it, some kerosene, I'm here to help always, brother. Yeah.
Get that spotlight out. Get the spotlight
out. You got it. All right. On that note, I want to thank Brian Cage for joining us. Everybody go follow him. Tune in to AEW. Catch him on Wednesdays. He's the man.
Who better?